Mande. No, it's off. The point is not they're going to take them all of them back there. I put it complete package the last couple of weeks. Sent them out. All of them. So, and I should have called everyone Friday saying, hey, you didn't see yourself on it because I got from the G and some other that. It's not that you're not going to know it. They want to see it all together. No, I didn't know that. Give me credit. I know, it's all together. And lo que está pasando is, and I have made suggestions before we have to look at it. I know. Sorry about that. I was out of basically, before I said, you know what? I told somebody, not piecemeal, so you get the piecemeal and it'll be like when y'all are the budget, what agenda was it? And I'm going to follow up with them this week, so we're ready for the next one. I believe we should be ready for this. Analysis and getting all of it. So we should be able to do it. And I need to be here. I would have recommended that there's an item on there that yes. But no. See, because I had talked to the prosecutor and he said, well, all I'm saying is that, you know, the commissioner said, yeah, but I didn't know that was going to be the small and so, and there's other things that I'm working on. But either way, I just wanted to make, okay, and I'm sorry, I appreciate it. My wife was trying to analyze me because I'm and so not that there's a huge fan, but I got to do more things and use along my record, so sometimes I didn't just go by it. I go out and stay with them. So it was a little harder for me because that's where I I said, the new system was in the car, and we went to another, pero sí, se enfermó, he's there, se durmió, I moved to the hospital, and so
Good morning. We want to welcome you this morning to our Drainage District Board of Directors meeting for today, January the 20th, 2015. The entire court being present, we have a quorum. Under open forum, we have two people signing up. Virginia Townsend, first one.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Surely, with all the bad PR we're getting about the drainage district, you would expect something to come from me. So I am telling you, I expect a whole lot more leadership than what I'm seeing. And I think you owe it to the taxpayers. No more fooling around, can't make a decision. How long has this been going on? You need to make a decision, and no more bad stuff between the commissioner and the director of the drainage district. This is ridiculous. It's a waste of time. It looks bad, and I have no confidence in your leadership if you don't do something. You know that the one thing I complain about more than anything in the world is you all not making decisions about things. You let things go on and on and on. I don't have a patience for it. I don't know how you can. But whether it's a building that we're having redone that I would never put up with, all the delays that you've had, but whatever it is that you all have going on that you allow to keep going on, enough already. In 2015, let's be decision makers and leaders, and I can make a decision, and this is what it is. And don't back off and don't be afraid, and let's do something. Thank you.
Next presenter is Opal Billman. Oh, okay. Yeah, we'll put you down for the county then. Our consent agenda, any concerns?
We have no concerns with the consent agenda.
Move for approval.
Second. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries. Item 4.
Judge, Commissioners, I'd like to hold off on item 4 till after executive session. It's under real estate that we need to do some presentation to the board.
All
So
right.
I'd like to bring that back after discussion with the board.
Okay. Then item number 5.
Item number 5, discussion acceptance to request title reports along Far McAllen Drain and a PSJ South Drain to establish ownership. The majority of the drainage system that the district has are under easements, but in certain areas we do have fee simple. We're requesting authority from the board to go out and get some title reports done on certain legs of the two facilities that I've identified there, the Far McAllen Drain and the PSJ South Drain, to establish if we own them in fee simple or if we just have easements on those properties.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Those in favor say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
Item 6, discussion and approval of interlocal cooperative agreement among the City of Alton, Hidalgo County, and Hidalgo County Drain District Number 1 in relationship to widening of a drain ditch along Mile 5 west of Conway. We've been asked by the City of Alton to assist them in widening a drain ditch and also moving the dirt from the facility. We have a similar item on the county's agenda. We are not going to be expending or digging the ditch. We're going to be moving the dirt that their contractor is excavating and relocating it across the street and spreading it out and compacting it.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 7, discussion authorization to enter into agreement between Hidalgo County Drain District Number 1 and Hidalgo County, Urban County, for assistance in the development of the Peñitas Drain GLO project. This is a project at the workshop we brought to the board's attention, and we've had discussion with Urban County and also Commissioner Flores, in which the district is looking at assisting the GLO project in the construction of the Peñitas Drain with monies that we have allocated from the 2006 bond series.
Move for approval. Before we vote, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Do we have an agreement already put together?
No, so we're asking for authority to go into an agreement.
Right. So just to make clear for the record, we're not approving an agreement right now. All we're doing is asking for approval to enter into negotiations.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
Item 8, requesting approval to accept bids received and executed agreement with multiple vendors meeting all specified requirements for RFB number HCDD1 14033 1218 pipes, reinforced concrete pipe, tongue and groove, reinforced concrete pipe, rubber gasket, polyethylene and HP Storm polypropylene pipes, 1 ACT pipe and supply, 2 Kappa Rio Valley pipe, 3 HC Supply Waterworks, 4 Aquaworks pipe and supply. This is our standard bid that we put out for the year to select from.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
Item B, requesting approval of supplemental agreement number 6 to work authorization number 9 with Tezzi Infrastructure Group in the amount of $3,500 as it relates to survey services for the Edinburgh wastewater treatment plant effluent line discharge to HCDD number 1 lateral ditch JO2 Monte Cristo outfall. The city of Edinburgh is requesting a legal description where they place their pipe across their property. Again, these are all reimbursables by the city of Edinburgh.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item C, requesting approval to advertise RFQ number HCDD1 15001 0218 professional engineering service pool. This is our standard advertising every year in which we advertise for RFQs to create the engineering pool from which the board selects any projects that come up.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item D, requesting approval of work authorization number 3 in the amount of $15,848.25 was Dannenbaum Engineering Company, McAllen LLC, as it relates to the preliminary plans and profile schematic alternatives for Hidalgo County Irrigation District Number 1, Edinburgh/Peñitas Pump and Levee Rehabilitation. As the board recalls, we had Dannenbaum come and make a presentation to the board based on the meetings that we had with FEMA Irrigation District Number 1, in which they're going to put together 3 different alternatives for the closing or the certification of the Peñitas Pump House.
Move for approval.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item E, requesting approval of change order number 1 in the amount of $19,180 to construction contract number HCDD1 14004 0211 with Texacordia Construction LLC as it relates to Precinct 4 Edinburgh Drain Stub Out to the South Main Drain Control Structure Drainage Improvement. What we're doing on this particular project, we're reshaping the ditch and relocating the rock riprap to give us a better turning on the structure they've got there. The rock that's there is being relocated, so it's a limited amount. Plus, we're extending a pipe to make sure we have enough roadway on top to have equipment go around it.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
Item F, requesting approval of change order number 2 to construction contract number HCDD1 13022 0429B with Rojas Construction Paving to add additional working days as it relates to the Precinct 2 FM 495 Wisconsin Road crossing. No amount associated with the change order. A lot of these are rain days associated with the increase of project time.
Move for approval.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item G, requesting approval to advertise for RFB number HCDD1 15002 0225 Hidalgo County Drain System 1 slope repairs of North Main Drain Weir number 3 and South Main Drain Weir number 5. These are, again, part of the bond issue projects.
Move for approval.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item number 9, approval to review and update existing drainage committee. I believe this was requested by Commissioner Cantu regarding the committee members that are assigned out of his precinct.
So at this time, do I mention the people that I want to appoint?
Yes, sir, I
Yes.
would.
Okay. I'm going to reappoint Virginia Townsend, appoint Roy Garcia, Javier Cervantes, Martin Cepeda, and Yvette Ibarra.
Move for approval.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. I don't know if you're aware, but there is a meeting coming up pretty quick, so you can let them know. When is that meeting going to be? All right. Item 10.
Item 10, discussion, consideration, and possible action regarding conflict of interest issues that may have occurred in awarding of contracts of HCDD number 1 projects between 2007 and 2014.
All right, there's 3, I was looking at this and how to proceed. We frankly have 3 options. Option 1 is we keep on going the way we're going, which is sending letters back and forth and trying to communicate in that manner. Or option 2, we convene a hearing as authorized by Article 9 of the contract between the district and INTEG to determine whether or not a conflict of interest issue is actually there. Or option 3, we proceed to allow a lawyer such as Mike Lee, who is presently working on related issues, to develop the issues involved on this particular matter, which is the conflict of interest issues. I would like to recommend that we proceed with option number 3, that we allow Mr. Mike Lee, a lawyer, to keep on and expand the scope of his inquiry and to cover this conflict of interest issue.
And this is going to keep all the friction away from letters going back and forth from the attorney?
That's correct. No, he'll have the charge of taking statements and gathering whatever evidence he believes is relevant, and then coming back and giving us a report.
Okay, will he have to hire an attorney, ¿verdad?
Yes, well, we already have Mr. Mike Lee investigating that
In behalf
issue
of the
with
county.
Intech.
Yeah.
Right.
Judge, the only question I have, and I agree with you, I think somebody that has the experience in contract law and all needs to look at it. We did approve him in September 30th of last year. I know we're looking at an extension. Has he given any indication on a timetable so that we can be prudent with this issue? Obviously, it's hitting the news, and there's a lot of references back and forth, and we just want to make sure for the sake of the general public that they know that we're handling this in an expeditious manner. I don't know if we've ever gotten legal opinion from our legal counsel with the district. I don't know if there's a potential conflict from him offering any insight into a conflict, but it's just questions that I have. But I do agree, we need to address the issue.
Commissioner, there will be an item 12, that brings up several of the issues you are discussing. One of them being the term of the contract, and if it indeed is a current agreement or is it an expired contract. Because there's a secondary issue that Mr. Lee has brought up, which was not identified, and historically, and the standard operating procedure of either the county or the drainage district, to my memory, when we did the procurement, was a calendar day engagement, and he is advising us that he considers his engagement on a business day engagement, which puts different expiration dates on this agreement. So there's quite a bit of discussion that needs to take place on item 12 before we can consider any extension of his, first, he's asking for more time, and secondly, whether we need to then amend his scope of work to include what the Board of Director is saying. So I think item 12 needs to be discussed in order to make some of these
Well, I'm
decisions.
proposing that we amend the present agreement to cover the issue that we're involved in right now.
Correct, but then you have an issue whether is it an expired agreement. You see, there's now the issue that he's bringing up, that this is a business day, 90-day engagement, when historically, all of our agreements are calendar days. And if that's the case, I provided you, in front of you, you have documentation with a calendar that gives you both scenarios. If this is
What are we talking about? When does he want to, how much time does he say that he needs to complete whatever
he's asking for 60 additional days, but 60 from when? You see, under the calculations, if you look at your backup, which I provided not only on the agenda, but you're going to see this page.
Why don't you call him and ask him for a specific date, a
I
calendar
have tried,
date?
Judge. I have tried. I even encouraged him to be here today. I've sent him emails. He just says 60 more days, but he doesn't say from when.
Well,
So,
why don't
and
we
then he
make it-
doesn't accept, there's holidays in between. By his correspondence, which all of you have, he's telling us that I
Instead of
proposed
complicating things, Marty, why don't we just say, if it's 60 days, let's make it 60 days from today?
But then the issue is, 60 days from today is technically an expiration if you take calendar days.
But I've got a question. Is there any way, Steve, that we can take this to executive session, or he's not an employee?
He's not an employee, no.
So a contractor can't be going into executive session, right?
Under the
Under
present
these
circumstances.
circumstances, it'd be
Right.
difficult.
Under the what?
Under these circumstances, it would be difficult.
So Marty, the issue at hand then is whether or not the contract has expired.
60 days, not 90.
There's three issues. Number one, is the contract, has it expired on its own term, the 90 days, if you take calendar days? I've even included 6 holidays. Those are 6 holidays that were given during the term of the agreement. 2 for Thanksgiving, an additional one in November, 2 for Christmas, and 1. His response to that is, it should be the holidays he had in his firm, that he is not an employee of the drainage, of the county. So if that's the case,
Marty,
Because, you know,
could we hire somebody local instead of hiring him? We've given him a couple
no
of
one else,
extensions.
no one else submitted, Commissioner, the SOQ.
Well, my question, and I guess I asked the question earlier, whether or not there poses a conflict with our existing legal counsel who sits on the board of directors here with us. Is there a conflict where he cannot review questions regarding conflicts of interest and anything for the sake of the general public to come down to at least a basis of facts? And I'm looking at it from a public standpoint is, you know, this is being aired several times, it's been written about, and still there's no position. And I think
Correct.
the board has to offer a position, whether it's through legal counsel or hire a firm that can give one in a very expeditious manner.
If you want to hire a firm, I can't give you that
Is there
answer.
someone local, Judge?
I'm not a,
well, we
An attorney?
tried, nobody applied.
okay, so then you can also exempt. You can exempt a legal
Well, why not
firm
exempt and then
to do
choose
that.
them to
However,
do it?
I would like to bring, I don't know if the DA's office would be interested in even undertaking this. They were not interested in the prior administration in getting into this.
Marty, why don't you try calling him? Maybe that we can get him on the line and he can answer some of these questions. And we'll proceed
Yes,
with the agenda. If you get a hold of him, let us know before we end the Drainage District Committee meeting.
I will. Thank you.
Marty, just one last question, just because legal counsel, is it in fact an expired contract or not?
That's the determination of the court, of the board.
Okay.
I see.
We'll determine
Look,
whether or not we can engage in it.
look, Commissioner, if you take the grid I gave you and you take it as a calendar day engagement, the best that could have happened, including the holidays issued by the district, it would be January 16th. It expired.
Look, the issue's not going away, and I don't want to get involved in trying to go back and forth with Mr. Garza by letter. That's going to be out, but certainly we have the right to convene a hearing under Article 9, and then we have the right to subpoena witnesses. We have the right to do all of that, and I don't really want to get into that. I think it'd be better handled if we authorize someone like Mr. Lee, who's already become somewhat knowledgeable about the activities of our drainage district.
Judge, and I would recommend, if that is the will, and I support it 100%, Marty's stating that you do have, in fact, the potential expired contract. So why don't we just go back to the pool, select Mr. Lee?
There's no pool.
Or
This
there
was a
isn't a pool.
specific
Or
RFQ.
ex-
You
but we
can
can
exempt
exempt.
him, you can exempt him,
And just go that method?
Now, you'd
Okay.
have to
Let's
re-engage
do
him.
that.
You'd
All
have
right.
to re-engage him.
Balde,
But those are
can you-
things I
Can you
need to
guide us
know.
through that, Balde?
Okay, if that's the wish of the board, then I will facilitate the engagement aspect of the firm.
Expired, but let's not get into an argument.
Unless there's other suggestions.
Right. Right, they'd have to bring it back. Right, you'd have to, exactly, yes.
So there's, well, I mean, like I'm saying, under item 12, that's a determination that the board has to make. What was the definition of the 90 days, calendar or business?
Why don't we
If it was
just exempt
calendar-
him and hire him for an additional 60 days?
That's not on the agenda, though.
Oh,
That is not on the agenda. Because he's the one prompting the requests.
what agenda item are you looking at?
12, item 12,
Oh, I'm looking at 10, I'm sorry.
well, but 12 is pertinent to 10. 12 is,
Well, you're saying that we have the right to amend and extend.
we have the right if it's still current. See, the problem becomes his now introduction. There's another issue too, his insurance. But the first issue is he sent us written request for an additional 60 days. If I've calculated, given the information he's requested, our calculations with holidays would have expired January 16th. His interpretation on business days, giving him also 6 additional holidays, it would be February 20th.
You know, I have a question.
So it's up to the board to decide what was the definition of his engagement.
Well, whatever it was, can we extend it under this agenda item?
Well, you need to determine, when did it...
If we make a
is it that-
determination that
Is
it
it a
was-
current agreement? Has it expired or not? I don't know that. You need to determine that.
And under the facts, under the arguments that are being voiced, he says it expires on February 20th.
Well, no, he doesn't even tell us when it expires. This is what I've calculated based on his assertions to us that he is taking it under business days.
Why don't we take your interpretation of it being February the 20th? and
That's
we
not my
act-
interpretation.
Well,
Marty.
what, your calculations, Marty.
Marty, this is.
But then you're making a finding that the engagement was awarded based on business days? That is not the historic manner that we
Why don't we
award
just- excuse
agreement.
me. I mean, this is going to go on forever. Why can't we just let the district attorney look at it?
I know Josie and,
As I said, Commissioner, I don't know if this new administration will be open to that because the prior
Victor and
did not.
Josie, have you all looked at this before? Are you all capable of looking at this? I mean, you've looked at several agreements before related to contracts.
We tried, they had it and worked on it for a few weeks or something, and then they gave it back to us saying that they were not going to be able to get involved for whatever reason that may have
Well,
been.
maybe the election was going on, but maybe now that it's over.
That's what
Well,
I said.
It's over, maybe they can call their district attorney, Mr. Rick Rodriguez, and Ricardo Rodriguez, and find out if they're willing to take it on.
It's something that will allow us to ramp up faster, do a quick review, and if it does need a specialist, and we
I
still got
welcome
the
it,
time to do
because I
that.
found myself in a situation where there are some valid questions that need to be answered here,
Yeah.
or determined, or given direction to the
Yeah,
board.
That's what we may want.
Why don't we wait on it for a little bit, have them make a phone call to the DA, see if they'll take it, and if they'll take it, we can, decide amongst the board whether to move forward, number one. Number two, if something like this ever comes up where there's a question, why don't we have an agenda item ready so that we can take action and not have to wait 2 weeks or however long the next meeting will be, so that we can always be moving forward?
Well, okay, I know that under the county, yes, you have you have a standing item to exempt a firm and
Couldn't you just do it for the drainage, like we do it for the county?
they would have to
Yeah.
insert that. And
All right, why don't we
Commissioner,
proceed-
just so
why don't we
that you'll know,
proceed with
I'm
the
involved
agenda?
because the
Hold
county
on, Marty.
procured
Why don't we proceed with the agenda, and we'll wait till Josie comes back, and we'll take this matter up
Let me
again.
go and brief her on the
All
situation.
right. So let's proceed to item number 11.
Under item 11, this is placed on there on the judge's office.
Yolanda Chaba with the Judge County, Hidalgo County's office. We've been asked to put this job description back again on the board. I believe this is, we've put it on before, but this time we are bringing it for discussion. We were also asked last board meeting to consider first the drainage, the job description for the district manager, and then after that, bring back the assistant manager's position. So we're again putting the description for Hidalgo County Drainage District Number 1 District Manager. This job description has been discussed with Mr. Garza. He had input into it. Also, we met with all of the chiefs several times. Everybody had input into the job description, and so therefore we're bringing it to you again. Mr. Garza's contract, I believe, is up February the 16th, and we talked about possibly doing this before the contract came up again.
Ms. Chapa,
Yes, sir.
I know it's been worked on, and I've read it, and I had a couple of comments or questions, because I think from reading it, it's very, very, very specific.
Right.
And I think it's going to limit the field. And I'll ask the question, because I'm sure that that y'all considered this, but some of the items are so restrictive that, I mean, it may limit it to one person, when we can maybe bring in 5 to 10 applicants that are qualified but don't have specific, very specific items that are on the description, and maybe open it up to some very talented people. But, I mean, I'll give you an example. Sorry, I have to read off my phone. Requires a minimum of 10 years' experience dealing with personnel purchasing and contract management as it pertains to Water Code Title IV. I mean, very, very specific items. I'd rather have 5 to 10 people that the board could consider that have, a lot of different aspects in their background, and so that we could choose the best person for the job.
Absolutely, sir.
And there's a
We
couple
can
other
take
ones
it.
that it says
Okay.
required, and maybe we can make it preferred or something.
Okay. Okay, or less years of experience,
Less
possibly?
years of experience. There was another required. Requires experience with floodplain mapping and management, stormwater drainage system, construction, civil projects. I mean, I understand that we need to have somebody that knows about drainage, but at some point, we need to leave it open so that we have a great manager that understands the other aspects of the position. It's not all about, I mean, you can hire great engineers that know how to design stuff, but you got to understand day-to-day business. Obviously, you got to understand flood.
Absolutely.
But some of them are so specific, I don't know what limits that's going to put on the board.
We would be happy to take whatever input or whatever you choose as a
And so
vote,
that we don't have to
or,
go back and forth. Maybe we just change some of the stuff to preferred, and that way we could keep moving forward and we can
okay,
get some
instead of
applicants in.
required.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
That's just my 2 cents.
If that's the wish of the board.
Open it up a little more.
But there are many job descriptions that have preferred rather than required.
Please.
Sorry, so the language is okay so long as we make that change from
Yeah, we go
required
to
to
required to
preferred?
preferred, I think we can continue to move forward.
You know what, and that was my question. Is there a requirement that they have to have an engineering license?
There is a requirement, depending on what code you look at, the water code, I believe it is, that requires,
But on this job description?
On this job
Does it
description?
stipulate it has to have?
you don't have to have it, Steve is shaking his head, but,
No, he's not
But,
asking whether or not the law requires it. He's asking whether the policy.
the job description does require an engineer.
Okay.
And we got that
To change that, no?
as input from
We need to
all of
change
the
that, too.
districts, the chiefs, all agreed.
I think in that sense, and I'll ask all the board, is to put preferred, but don't make it a requirement on the job description. I guess I'm asking the board if
Yeah,
that's...
I'm good with that.
I think one
Well,
section
I
of the
mean-
code requires an engineer, no? Civil engineer.
So you do not want, in the experience, you
I
do
know.
not want engineer?
No, hold on. Mr. Ofracio, I know you keep mentioning that the law requires that he be an engineer, or she, or whatever that individual we
Well,
select.
as far as I know, that the drainage district follows the water code, and there's 2 sections they follow. There's a section that applies to all districts in general, and there's one section that applies to drainage district specifically. And I believe the one about the drainage district requires that the manager be civil engineer, if I'm not mistaken.
Or that's a fact.
We're paying $175,000 or $180,000. We need to have an engineer. We need to have someone that possesses the educational requirements at least.
I've got a couple engineers that work for me.
What's the question?
In my business.
The question is whether or not the district requires that the
Pero
district
saben, pues, si
manager
los pones a hacer
be a
algo,
licensed
sí.
engineer.
What the water code says is that the district can have an engineer.
Can have.
There
Can
is no requirement that I know of in the water code that the manager has to be an engineer.
And that's
You can
your
always have
professional
an
legal-
engineer on hand.
I need to go back and look at it, but
There are 2 codes, one under drainage and one under the water code. One does, as Mr. Fazio has said, recommends it, the other one says general manager.
I'm not saying that I don't advocate it, I just would prefer preferred, because you might have a perfect manager that might not be licensed, they're working amongst professional engineers within the scopes of the projects, that doesn't really require you to be a licensed engineer. Godfrey, in the last decade, have you stamped, I mean, obviously, you have an engineer on staff, has he stamped any project whatsoever in the last decade?
Yes, sir. We have a licensed engineer that is an employee of the district that has been there probably 5 or 6 years, and he is a licensed engineer. He's TxDOT certified in hydraulic hydrology, and he provides the review of the engineering plans to make sure that they're complying with engineering design, and he has also stamped plans that we have done in-house.
So the district does have a licensed engineer?
As an employee, yes, sir.
For how many years?
I think he's been there 5 or 6, 7 years,
Well,
something
the
like that.
question is, Judge, if you prefer to have the manager as well be a licensed engineer, or the board.
I don't think we're looking for just someone that manages a department. We're looking for someone that's knowledgeable about engineering criteria to get involved. I mean, this is the department where we're spending the most amount of money. I mean, probably during the last 7 years, we've gone through about $400 million. I mean, surely we ought to be, and we're paying Mr. Garza right now about $175,000 or $180,000. We ought to have someone that possesses the objective criteria, and besides the experience, also the educational background. And that's why I'm proposing that we consider an engineer requirement as a minimum.
Judge, let me tell you that what I've noticed, engineers that make that kind of money, or there's not a lot of engineers that will work for that. They're in the private sector, and it's hard to find an engineer that would be willing to do this job. You know, in the city of FAR, we try to hire an engineer, and we got no applicants, because a lot of the better engineers have their own private business. And I think everybody will look at it, and if they have an engineer versus a non-engineer that have the same qualifications otherwise, I'm pretty sure this board will go with the guy that has the engineer. I just don't want to limit the field.
I agree that we could put preferred. I'm all for that, and just look at the listing once we get the applicants in. I guess my other question is, once we receive applicants, or we approve this, receive applicants, I believe it's the board's will to, I guess, it's a board decision, right? Judge, is it?
Steve, were you included in this job description at all?
No,
You had no say-so?
no, sir.
Why is that, Mr. Chapman?
We did send a copy. What this board directed us to do, and we also worked with the DA's office, but what this board directed us to do was to put this job description together with input from all of the people who had information. This was reviewed by Valde. This also was reviewed by the attorneys.
Who put it together?
County
though?
attorneys.
Did the chiefs of staff get involved in it?
Yes, sir,
All right,
every one of them.
So all 5 of them had some input.
Yes, sir.
Judge, but I will say that I think on the chief of staff, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I think we have representation out here in the audience, is that we agreed that it'd be preferred and not required. And that's why I'm asking all these questions, because under every step, I was told it would be preferred, not required.
Actually, Commissioner, the discussion with all of the chiefs, minus Mr. Garza, and then Mr. Garza was brought in, Armando Garza was brought in afterwards. But at that particular meeting, the discussion centered around having an engineer or not. And really, the feeling of all of the chiefs was that because of the licensure, because of this person holding a license, that would be something that this board and this commission could hold, not over their head, but basically hold them to a higher standard because they are licensed, much like a CPA, much like a licensed attorney is. So the discussion among the chiefs was absolutely we do not prefer, we want a licensed engineer. And that was the discussion.
Okay, well, at the end of the day, it's still a board decision.
Absolutely, you've got the last
Well,
decision.
let me, Steve, Mr. Eufrazio had just provided me with a copy of the statute that deals with engineers and with drainage districts. And it says that the Commissioners Court shall appoint a competent civil engineer.
Right, but it does not have to be the manager, is my point.
The other entities, we also surveyed some of the other entities, the Harris County Flood Control. We did kind of a survey of everything that we could find, and those particular entities did have licensed engineers as their heads.
Yeah, well, let me give my humble position. The reason why we say prefer is not that we're not advocating. I'm certain that by the time we get to the application process, and there is a licensed engineer that has all of the other preferreds, then I'm certain the board would look favorable on that, and that individual would have the best chance to apply to get the job. So, and I don't want to lose this in translation here. We do want the best of the best, okay? But I think that it opens it up completely if we say preferred.
Right.
We're not saying we're going to decide that. I just think it opens it up to see what kind of talent is out there. And I agree with Commissioner Cantu and the others, and, you know, I think the will is that we look at everybody to find the best possible candidate. Because like they said, you got good licensed engineers. The best ones are in the biggest firms. Second of all, you can be a good licensed engineer, but be a poor manager. So we want to look at the entire scope, 360, in light of all the issues that we do have.
So, Mr., why don't we, because of the interest of time, we probably have had enough discussion on the issue where we may have to act on it. Why don't someone make a motion, and we can decide whether or not we're going to be requiring an engineer or whether or not we're going to just be preferring an engineer.
I make a motion to go with preferred on all those items, and with, on those years of experience, I think you have 15 to 20, 10 to 15 as preferred.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. At this time, we're going to be recessing our Drainage District Board meeting and convening our Hidalgo County Commissioners Court meeting.
Judge, I just want to tell all the board we'll make the revisions and send it back for everyone to see that. Okay? The updated job description.
All right, at this time, we're convening our Hidalgo County Commissioners Court meeting for today, January the 20th, 2015. The entire court being present, we have a quorum. Please join us in our Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear Father in heaven, we thank you for this day. We thank you for the privilege of living in a free society where we can not always get along, but always try and work towards something that will help everybody. We ask you, dear Lord, to bless all our families, bless our nation, bless the people that serve in the service of our country, to fight wherever they are, keep them safe. Please help us point in the right direction when we meet together like this, so we accomplish what is good for the whole county all the time. And we ask this in the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Amen.
Amen. All right, at this time, we're going to recess our Commissioners Court meeting and reconvene our Drainage District meeting and proceed to item number 12.
Am I going to move forward on B?
Oh, I thought I'm sorry. We do have B, C, and D under 11. Under item 11B.
I'm sorry, sir. My assumption was that we were going to change the job description and then bring it back?
I think we could
Or
continue
you want to
move
go
forward.
with everything else?
I think we can move forward.
You can move forward, is that what you said?
Yes.
Okay. Approval for salary of the general manager position. We also did survey of that, and what we find that an individual with an engineer degree is making from $160,000 to $190,000.
I move for $190,000 a year.
Second.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Say aye. That's, those against, same sign. All right, motion carries.
D, approval to authorize the financial officer to identify and allocate appropriate funding.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And
Aye,
E,
motion
I'm
carries.
sorry. And E is approval to revise the salary schedule to indicate $190,000 as approved.
Move for approval.
Second.
Under C, that's
$190,000.
the authorization to create general manager position with the appropriate slot number.
That has to be approved first. Yes, sir. Because right now, you don't have a slot number.
Motion approved.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
We didn't finish E, Judge, if you want to do it again.
All right, under revising the salary schedule, let's make sure we did that. I need a motion to,
Motion to approve.
Second.
those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Okay?
All right,
Thank
thank you,
you.
ma'am. Item 12,
Judge, I have spoken to the district attorney's office. They have not been able to reach Mr. Rodriguez. I just generally suggest that some of the information that has been forwarded, and you do have it in your
well,
packet.
let's wait for it, maybe they'll get a hold of them. We still have quite a bit to go here.
Yeah.
Judge, I don't believe that this is going to go in the direction of the DA. If you'd like, you can have them come forward.
Well, he just got on board, let's give him an opportunity to make a decision as to whether or not he wants to get involved.
I believe that if Mr. Crane would consider some of the information that Mr. Lee has forwarded to us, the possibility of potential litigation does exist. I don't know if he will decide that maybe it's something you could take to executive to understand the issues that you need to address.
Why don't we, I propose we just wait for the DA. I mean,
Let's recess this, and then we'll come back after a
yeah,
report. finishes.
when we got plenty more issues to talk about. We still got about another, at minimum, 30 minutes. Let's just wait, Marty. All right, let's look at item number 13.
Item number 13, request approval to issue manual checks after review and audit process are complete on the following items. Item A, application for payment number 1 in the amount of $161,405 for Foremost Paving, Inc., related to construction contract number HCDD1 14-025-0909, Mission Inlet Arch Culvert Aluminum Liner Plate Relining, PO number 625593, project engineer R. Gutierrez Engineering Corporation.
Move for approval.
Take care of it.
Joseph, we'll take over.
Those two?
We have a motion and a second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Item B, application for retainer release in the amount of $8,495 from Foremost Paving, Inc., related to construction contract number HCDD1 14-025-0909, Mission Inlet Arch Culvert Aluminum Liner Plate Relining, PO number 625593, project engineer R. Gutierrez Engineering Corp.
Move for approval.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item C.
Item C, application for payment number 1 in the amount of $150,255.80 from Rojas Construction and Paving related to construction contract number HCDD1 13-021-0429B, PO number 625108-14, project engineer R. Gutierrez Engineering Corporation.
Move for approval.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item 14.
Item 14, discussion and approval to acquire all right-of-way and fee simple along Far McAllen South Drain and PSJ South Drain for needed maintenance operation. Commissioners, this is the one that I presented earlier to start looking versus the easement and the fee simple. If we do have easements and we're going to convert it over to fee simples, then we would do appraisals and present it back to the board for authorization to move forward on acquisition.
Motion approved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second on item 14. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item 15, request approval to issue manual check once reviewed and audit procedures are completed on the following item. Request for payment number 1 in the amount of $90,000 from Texas Cordia Construction related to construction contract number HCDD1 140080708 Precinct 2 Alamo Expressway Drain, PO number 625452.
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Board, I would like for the board to consider going into executive sessions that relates to real estate acquisition.
Okay, pursuant to Chapter 551, Texas Government Code, Sections 551-.071 and 551.072, to discuss the following: real estate acquisition, pending or potential litigation. Do I have a motion?
Move for approval.
Second, and we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We're now in executive.
Oops, excuse me.
All right. So we got Eddie. All right, we're back in open session. Item number 17.
Judge, I would recommend the board proceed back to item 4 for discussion regarding acquisition.
Item what, sir?
Item 4, sir.
Okay.
Under item 4, approval of purchase agreement and escrow instruction with Paramount Citrus 2 LLC in relation to Hidalgo County Drainage Number 1 Drainage Facility J09 Drainage Project. I'm going to read the following parcels, Judge, Commissioners. Parcel 33, 35, 37, 38 has an appraised value of $516,414, and parcel number 29 and 31 has an appraised value of $242,198. And we have reached an agreement for the board's consideration on parcel 29 and 31 for $2,501, and on parcel 33, 35, 37, and 38 for a cost of $4,807, for a total cost of $7,208, with a savings to the district on the land acquisition of close to $720,000, $740,000. The firm of Paramount Citrus 2 is looking more at a tax credit on it, so the values that I've read to you are the appraised values and the offer value that they're willing to take on the land.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
And also, gentlemen, if you could also approve the purchase agreement and escrow instructions with Paramount Citrus LLC in relation to that previous action.
Need a motion?
That's number 4, yeah, I need a motion.
Do you need a motion to that, sir?
I do need a motion for that.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you very much, Judge, Commissioners.
Thank you. All right, now we're going to cover items 10 and 12. Artie?
Yes, sir. Let's go on with 12. I would recommend that we do that first.
All right.
Okay, A is written formal request by the Lee Law Firm to amend and extend the current letter of engagement for an additional 60 business days as detailed in the supporting documentation. As I said, if the board will just make the determination that his current letter of engagement was based on business days, as he is purporting, or calendar days, in order to amend and extend, because the agreement does have a commencement date, it does not have an ending date, the board may want to consider that that business days was the operating word here, but it's up to the board. You need to make that determination.
And you're proposing what, Marty?
Well, I'm proposing, let's take item B. That's what will make the decision. Discussion.
You're going to have a meeting next week, no, you said?
We may not need to include this if we
No,
proceed.
we believe she's figured out how we can get it done.
B
today.
would be discussion and action by the board to determine and agree on what basis current letter of engagement was awarded, calendar or was it the Lee Law Firm's position of business days, including the factoring in and calculation of holidays as defined by the board. If, because the engagement does not have an ending date, only a commencement date, the board wishes to take the Lee Law Firm's position of calendar days, then the current agreement would and include 6 holidays, the current agreement would be valid through February 20th. He's asking for an additional 60 days. So if you make that determination in B, we can go on to A, which would meet to amend to include items in 10 and extend to April 20th. What does the board wish to do?
Make a motion to accept 12B?
Business days?
Yes.
And thus making the current agreement expire February 20th?
Correct.
Okay.
Hold on.
Those in
Before y'all
favor?
vote- Before you vote,
Yeah.
Okay, so because there was no ending date.
There was a commencement date suggested and requested by the Lee Law Firm, but it just said 90 days. It did not say
Okay, but with
ending whatever date.
Right, but with that being the case, and factoring in the 6
Six.
holidays, that does throw you into February, which makes it...
20th.
20th, which makes it a
Current agreement.
Okay.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
If we can go back to A then, the formal request by the Lee Law Firm to extend an additional 60 business days. Oh, I don't have that date, but I will include it in the final document on the amendment because it has to be 60 business days since it's now the option we're taking.
All right.
I apologize for that, but I will put it in the amendment document that will be...
Motion approved.
Now, in that amendment and extension, you want to then include item 10, which is to extend and amend it to include conflict of interest issues.
That's right.
So we'll go back to 10 in just a moment.
All right.
Motion approved 12A.
Second.
All right, those in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries. Does that take care of it?
No, sir, there's one more issue. Item 10 then, discussion, consideration, and possible action regarding conflict of interest issues that may have occurred between 2007 and 2014. I'm to understand that the amendment and extension includes the additional work on the conflict of interest. Is that correct?
That's right.
For the Lee Law Firm,
Right.
all right?
Motion approved.
And then I go back to item 12C.
oh, that motion
Yeah,
on the
motion.
floor.
Oh, I'm sorry. There needs to be a vote on item 10.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
There's one more matter for the for the board to take up. The professional liability limits provided by the Lee Law Firm are $500,000 as opposed to what we usually require is $1 million. It's up to the board whether you will accept that, and I'll include that in the amendment document.
Motion approved 500,000.
All right.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. That take care of it?
That's all I have for this. I don't know
Thank you,
if there's more, 13. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms.
No,
Townsend?
it's our tradition to do calendar days. So we have set a new precedent when you accept something with business days. And from now on, when you have a contract, you're going to have to make it clear whether it's business days or calendar days. And That's what we did today by you all changing all this.
No, the amendment, no. I want to see if I understood this correctly. The amendment is business.
I think the issue is a lot bigger than that, but thank you for your comments.
Come on, guys. And then you give them another, this must be some law firm to be able to just kind of put their own things out what they want. Gee.
All right. Need a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Now, we're going to reconvene our County Commissioners Court meeting. Our consent agenda, any concerns?
Yes, Judge. I would like to ask that consent agenda item 12E1, 12F, 12T as in Thomas, 12V as in Victor, be pulled for discussion.
Move for approval of consent agenda excluding 12E1, 12F, 12T, and 12V.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Okay, 12E1, Judge, the certificate of liability insurance is expired for commercial general liability for that item.
Just a moment. I didn't realize I was going to be up again so quickly. I have, on 12E1, yes, I have sent emails. I also sent it in my letter of response that all of these vendors that concern insurances, that some of them expired just yesterday or recently, and we have notified every vendor. I have informed the auditor's office that I'm going to be asking that these be approved subject to the current provision of their insurance, their accord forms of insurance, and we will not proceed to execute any extensions or approvals without that insurance being in place.
But their agent is supposed to send them out right away.
We do send, it is the responsibility of the vendor commissioner, and this is an ongoing problem.
Because every time I renew my insurance, they go out right away.
Yes, sir, and I'm having quite a time with vendors, the whole spectrum, vendors of goods and services, getting them to send to us their insurance, and I feel that it is becoming a bigger issue. We're constantly having to ask them for them.
Judge, and my concern is that there are several of these here that don't have the insurance. We don't follow up on those. And once we review an agenda for 1 week, we start on the following week. So if by some reason the contract is not, or the vendor doesn't provide the insurance, then they don't have any coverage. So that's my concern.
And that is why I responded that we will not proceed to execute any agreement unless we do receive it, because it's subject to compliance with that, issue.
And you don't accept any certificates from the vendors, right?
I don't expect that some of them don't have them, because these are recurring, these are
You never
extensions.
accept any from the vendor, you always accept them from the...
From the insurance agent, and it's the accord form. It can only be the
Nowadays,
accord
they
form.
can print them out on their computer and send them to you.
Correct. No, it comes from the, now, see, a lot of vendors, what we have found is an accord form certificate does cost the vendor money. And I think a lot of times that's one of the things they don't like. But the insurance agent does charge a vendor for an accord form to be sent, and also naming Hidalgo County as an additional insured. So that's why I placed it. You will have a record that I am telling you that unless we get it in, we cannot send them to the judge to be executed.
Yeah, but Judge, the risk that I see is that the vendor is going to continue to provide services. For example, this E1 is a leasing of tower space. I mean, you leasing a tower and the contract expires, the vendor is still going to provide you with the tower service. And you say, we're not going to execute the contract. Well, you don't execute the contract, but he's already providing you the services, so you have to pay him, even though he might not be covered according to the contract.
Mr. Fracio, though, one of the dangers that we have here, though, is that you'll have a lapse in the service that they need. This is tower spaces for the sheriff's department. I mean, or for constables or for any law enforcement agency that needs it. And I know it's a difficult problem, but like I say, we do everything we can. We send emails, we make phone calls. And our contracts specifically state, and the vendor knows when he signs, that it's their responsibility to provide us their insurance certificates. But it's a recurring problem. I wish it wasn't, because it is very time-consuming.
Do you need action?
Yes, sir.
Which is recommending approval subject to right now?
Are you recommending the approval?
Yes, sir.
Move for approval.
Actually, it's all of them. It's H2, 12T, 12V.
Can we take one at a time, Marty?
Yes, but just so that you know, it's the same issue on all.
Yeah, same issue.
All right,
Obviously-
we have a
obviously-
motion and a second as to that first one. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
12T, it's the same
If it's the
argument.
same, if it's the same legal issue, cover all of them so we can move on.
Mr. Cufracio asked that they be
What
done
about,
separately.
12F, Judge, because that's the next one in line there.
Oh, 12F, I'm sorry.
And that one had to do with the legal counsel's review and approval of the draft contract was not documented.
Okay, in that one, this is for advertising. This is to let out packets. We will not let out the packet, as I answered in my response, until legal counsel provides us, and I stated it in my response. This is the draft agreement that's going to go out in the procurement packet. So
Marty.
until we get that,
Marty, going back to those people who don't have insurance, their agent is entitled to send you a cancellation form every time their insurance lapses like that. Do you get one?
no.
Maybe you need
Because
to call
usually they're already renewed. That's why we don't get them.
But I mean, it's like, for example, in my kind of business, if I don't pay my insurance, all the vendors are going to get notices
Right.
on my
No,
workers' comp
Commissioner,
and
we do
everything.
get cancellations, but it's rare. We do not receive the cancellations.
Somebody's supposed to receive them.
All right, can
And
you
on the one
cover all
I'm-
the balance of them?
On 12F, I recommend approval, and we will get legal counsel's approval on the draft agreement prior to letting out the procurement packet.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
12H, has that been approved?
12T is the next one, Marty. It's the
Okay.
same thing. Legal
It's the same
review.
argument on the insurance. I do know of all these three, Mr. Fracio, Ms. Fong just alerted me that one of them has been complied with. I just can't remember which one she was
Yeah, no,
referring to.
some of them we were able to clear, but 12T is the next one. That one has to do with the legal counsel's review and approval of the draft contract, just like the 12F. So you recommend approval, Marty?
Yes, sir.
12T?
Yes, sir.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
And the same argument on the insurance for 12B.
12B is the certificate of liability insurance, and also.
And we're waiting for the legal counsel's approval of the procurement, of the draft agreement.
But, yeah, the contract with South Texas Interpreters and legal counsel review approval was not documented,
Correct.
attached.
Yes, and I asked for, subject to both of them being complied with.
Motion approved?
What is, okay.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
And
That's all I have.
Thank you, Marty.
That's it?
On purchasing.
Right, but that's what I was going to ask. So, Mr. Frasso, you were okay with 12H2, 2B, 2E, and 4A?
But the only ones that I pulled for discussions was 12E1, 12F, 12T, and 12V.
No, I understand that, but you had concerns and you're recommending no action on 2B, 2E.
No, those were.
Were addressed.
They were cleared.
Okay,
All those were
everything was clear. Okay,
The only ones that I still had concerns were those
Gotcha,
four.
thank you.
All right. The next item, I've been advised that Mr. Eddie Olivares has to take off and for another commitment, so we're going to move on to his item number 12, 12A. He already left? Okay. Then we move on to item number 6A. We have a resolution in honor of Robert L. Lozano on his appointment to the Board of Directors for the Federal Reserve Bank.
Morning, Judge Commissioners. Bobby Villarreal with the Hidalgo County Judge's Office. We have Mr. Robert Lozano. He's the chairman of Greater State Bank, I'm sorry. I'll go ahead and read the resolution. Resolution in honor of Robert Lozano's appointment to the Board of Directors for the Federal Reserve Bank of Dallas San Antonio branch. Whereas Robert Lozano has been appointed to the Board of Directors of the Federal Reserve Bank of Dallas San Antonio branch. The Federal Reserve Bank of Dallas is one of 12 banks that comprise the federal government system that controls the nation's cash flows. And whereas Mr. Lozano will serve a 3-year term starting January 2015, as one of 7 board members, Mr. Lozano will provide input into regional economic conditions as part of the Federal Reserve's monetary policy functions, and whereas he has devoted much of his life to helping the community, Mr. Lozano believes in giving back to his community. He co-founded the Lozano Foundation in 1996 and is a founding member of the Good Samaritan Community Services of Rio Grande Valley. Over the years, he has donated over $1 million to various charitable endeavors, and whereas Mr. Lozano is a franchise owner, operator of American Dairy Queen, and a managing partner of R&L Lozano Leasing. His restaurants are direct licensed stores from American Dairy Queen Corporation, which is a Berkshire Hathaway company. He employs more than 650 people at multiple DQ stores throughout Texas. At R&L, Mr. Lozano directs and oversees acquisition, leasing, management, and numerous real estate investments, primarily in South Texas. He is active in promoting business and economic development in Hidalgo County and Rio Grande Valley. He is the chairman of the Greater State Bank in McAllen, serves on the board of the McAllen EDC, and has been active in the FAR McAllen Chambers of Commerce as well as the Rio Grande Valley Partnership. His honors include the SBA Regional Small Business Person of the Year, Paul Harris Fellow, Rotary Club FAR Businessman of the Year, Hidalgo Walk of Fame, and the Hidalgo Border Fest King. Mr. Lozano was born in Alice, Texas. His first job was in the watermelon fields of South Texas. He worked his way up from a cook at the Dairy Queen in Fremont to becoming a franchisee owner and operator of American Dairy Queen in 1987. He's a longtime resident of Edinburgh. He's married to Lori Lynn Guerra, and together they have 2 children, Lenz DeLee and Robert Augustine. Now, therefore, be it resolved that Hidalgo County Commissioners Court hereby congratulates Robert Lozano on his appointment to the Board of Directors of the Federal Reserve.
Second.
Those in favor say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries. Congratulations, Robert.
You want to say a few words?
Thank you, Judge. Thank you, Commissioners. And most importantly, thank you to the citizens of Hidalgo County and all the communities that we operate in. Our wonderful Dairy Queen family that's made it possible for Laurie and I and our family to do what we do every day. The folks at Greater State Bank. Someone asked me how long I'd been working to try to have this accomplishment happen. That's, I guess, since we started in business, I'm humbled and honored to get to represent South Texas at the Federal Reserve Bank. We'll do that to the best of our ability. It's not something that we ever dreamt of being able to do, but we'll do it to the best of our ability, and we're thankful to the community and to one that takes a moment to recognize something like this. So for whoever thought of this and felt it important enough to pause in the busy, busy day that I know we all have here, thank y'all all. I'm very appreciative. Thank you, Commission.
Congratulations. Ándale. Next item is a proclamation declaring January 2015 as National Human Trafficking Prevention Month.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. With me, I have Belinda Taylor from the Department of Public Safety. She's a safety counselor who's a board member on the Rio Grande Valley Human Trafficking Coalition. On the agenda today is a proclamation declaring January 2015 as National Human Trafficking Prevention Month. Human trafficking is still a huge problem. In the past 7 years, there have been over 700 incidents. And tomorrow, January 21st, they're going to hold a free human trafficking training at South Texas College in the Cooper Center from 9 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. This training will help create awareness and provide additional training on human trafficking issues. So, whereas as a community, we must join together to provide a safe haven by protecting victims and persecuting traffickers. Now therefore be it resolved that the Hidalgo County Commissioners Court hereby proclaims January 2015 as National Human Trafficking Prevention Month. They call upon the people of Hidalgo County to recognize the role that they play in ending human trafficking.
Those in favor say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries. Thank you. Our next item is discussion on RGV Day in Austin.
Morning, Judge. The item is just giving an update. They're planning RGV Day in Austin, February 10th. That's a Tuesday. And as one of the things that's always happened in the past is you've had different days, McAllen Day, Edinburgh Day, Brownsville Day. So one of the things they want to do, they've been planning this for a few years, that they wanted to be regional and have an entire the entire delegation of South Texas, the four-county region, Star, Cameron, Willacy, and Hidalgo, to go up together as one unit to show Austin that we are truly trying to act regional. And so we just want to give you that update, and part of that day would be heading up Tuesday morning to visit the Senate and House to be recognized by them, and then go visit various legislators on the issues that affect us. So I know I've emailed that to all of y'all, plus your chiefs, so they're trying to get a head count on who will go. So if you can get back to us on that. Also, we have a legislative tour that's starting this Thursday, running through Sunday. We have legislators from the state capitol coming down. Julian Alvarez from the Rio Grande Partnership, as you recall. Just about every 2 years during the session, they bring down legislators to visit the area, projects that are important to us. And so they'll be coming down Thursday through Sunday. I'm in the process of getting the itinerary of who's visiting where and what. But this year, the emphasis will be on Hidalgo County. 2 years ago, the emphasis was on Cameron County, so they trade off one year to the other. So this year is our year, so I'll get that over to y'all and your chiefs.
That's this week or next week, Bob?
This week, yeah. But I'll get y'all the itinerary, but I want to say there's going to be a visit to the Far Bridge, there's different things, so.
Judge, Commissioners, with that being said, any representatives or if the board will be traveling to Austin, I'd ask that Monica Badia be advised out of an abundance of caution for a quorum notice on this legislative day.
All right, thank you.
All right, next item. Item D, 6D is in David. The appointment of a representative and alternate to the Amigos del Valle Board.
That's mine, Judge.
That's yours, but there was somebody to make a, here he is.
Judge, Commissioners, I apologize. The Amigos del Valle Board has contacted us, their executive director, and they've asked us for the board to consider an appointment. Previously, I think the commission had appointed Commissioner Tito Palacios to be the representative on behalf of Commissioners Court. And so we put this out for consideration for the commissioners to decide who would want to be that representative.
We appoint Commissioner Eddie Cantu.
Second.
And those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Commissioner, they would also request
An alternate?
an alternate. I think previously it was the Chief of Staff of Precinct 2. I don't know if you wanted to continue that as well.
That's fine.
Okay, thank you, sir.
All right. Before we move on, I wanted to acknowledge in this part of our agenda that the good work that a reporter from the Monitor has been doing since April 2013. We have Jacob Fischler, I believe, is here in the audience. Here, Jacob is a county government reporter with the Monitor, has been since April 2013. Wednesday is his last day at the Monitor. He's going to be moving to Washington, D.C. to work for the online legal news service called Law 360. He will also be available to freelance. Somebody else wrote this, Jacob, but it says a big draw to move to D.C. is that his girlfriend is there.
That's a good reason.
Congratulations, and we wish you much success. We have our elected officials in the audience. The first one I recognize is Paul Villarreal. Paul, what is your agenda item, sir? Come on, you can step forward. We'll take care of it now.
Judge, I thought we took a vote. They're asking, legal counsel's asking us if we can take action again on the approval of the representation and the alternate for the Amigos de Valle Board. They didn't record the vote, so.
Well, I thought we did.
No, I thought so too, Judge.
Move for approval.
We'll do it again. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Now you got two terms.
There you go.
Judge, thank you, Judge, for allowing me to I guess to take this item. I got to go back to the office. I'm not very popular these days. I got to collect some taxes.
Yeah, what is the number? What is the number of the item?
It's what is it? It's 9G.
As in David?
9G is in George.
Oh, G.
Under the tax office,
Page 7, Judge.
discussion, consideration, and approval of the following personnel actions. To delete slot 34, Deputy Clerk 2 at $35,651. Delete slot 59, Deputy Clerk 1 at $26,924. Delete slot 60, Deputy Clerk 1, $26,394. Delete slot 135, Deputy Clerk 1 at $26,014. Delete slot 145, Deputy Clerk 1, $26,014. These are all vacant. And to create, let me see, slot 168, Executive Assistant 1 at $38,500. Create slot 169, Executive Assistant 2 at $44,000. Create slot 170, Bookkeeper 2 at $29,484. And create slot 171, Administrative Assistant 3 at $34,000. And approval to revise the salary schedule in accordance with Commissioners Court action.
Mr.
Move for
Guerra,
approval, 1 and 2.
Valde, you were going to make comments on these issues, I thought.
No, this is straightforward. This is
All right.
delete, create, this is very straightforward.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Paul. You kept after it and you got it done.
Thank you.
Next individual elected official is Constable J.R. Gaitan.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners.
Morning, sir.
I'm here in line number 8C, A1 48014. Judge, Commissioners, Constable Precinct 4 presentation and discussion of 2014 racial profiling report as presented by Hidalgo County Constable Precinct 4 Department in accordance with Article 2.134 of the Texas Code of Criminal Procedure.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
The next one, Judge, is D A1-48017, Constable Precinct 4, requesting authorization for the county judge to execute the 2014 Equitable Sharing Agreement and Certification Report.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
That's all I have, Judge. Commissioners, thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Our next elected official is Justice of the Peace, Jerry Munoz. Jerry, do you have an item? Okay. No, all right, thank you, sir.
Judge, we have item 6E, which is for the Historical Commission, but before we go there, Judge, I'm not sure that we've taken up open forum.
I have not.
Oh, okay, okay.
I'm taking up the elected
The
official.
elected, yes, sir, yes, sir. Okay. I have Mr. Alex Moreno from the Historical Commission. And in essence, it's the presentation by the Historical Commission with appointments and reappointments of members of the Hidalgo County Historical Commission for the year 2015 and 2016. Mr. Moreno?
Good morning, Commissioners. You have a very active historical commission. There's over 100 historical markers that have the history of this area from the indigenous days all the way to things in the 1900s. I don't think we put up a marker yet for in the 2000s, but I'm sure there'll be history. The commission works at, basically our job is to go out and put in new markers. You all fund them, and we go out and make sure that they're historically accurate and spread them out and have presentations for them and give publicity to the history of this area. We've got people who have been serving. Unfortunately, this past year, we've lost some people who have been a mainstay of our commission, right? The person who had been in charge of keeping the markers in place, Mr. Housley, died last year, and be a tremendous loss. He had done this for over 20 years. We've lost some other people due to illness, and but we're bringing in new people, and we're asking you all to reappoint the existing members and to appoint 7 new persons that we've provided the list on. They're pretty well spread out among the 4 precincts. We're also recommending that the officers who are still there be reappointed. Adela Ortega has served as the president or chairperson. Aida Escobar has served as vice president for preservation. We're bringing in Jesse de la Fuente from Precinct 1 to replace our deceased member, and then continuing secretary and treasurer. We're asking.
Can you name the individuals that we're going to be appointing for the first time?
Yes, sir. There's 7 persons. Lilia Dominguez, John Downing, both of Mercedes, Cindy Castro of FAR, Rosa Lila Ledesma of Mission, D. Lopez, Augie Peña, and Jaime Longoria of Edinburgh.
Move for approval.
Second.
That's all existing members plus these 7 you've named.
Yes, sir.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you all.
Thank you, sir. Next item, item F.
Judge, no action on that one. We have some legal issues pending.
All right, we're going back to open forum. Item number 5. First presenter is Virginia Townsend. Oh, well, thank you, ma'am. Next presenter is Naili Garcia.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. I'm sorry. My name is Nayeli Garcia, and I am the founder of Campaign Strides for Fanny. The mission is to reduce crime in Colonia San Cristobal from the vandalism, theft, and gang activity that resides from San Cristobal and are confronted with on a daily basis, and once successful, got willing to move on to help other colonias. So the reason why I started this campaign comes from a tragedy that happened to our family in 2012. My home became part of a crime scene to a horrific murder. 2 men broke into our home to steal. Unfortunately, my sister, who was 3 months pregnant, was the only one at home at that time. They did unimaginable things to her, and after that, they proceeded to strangling her to her death. In order to cover the evidence, my sister and her baby were left to burn that night. I learned from that tragedy that my family and I faced not only impacted us, but also the people around us. So this campaign is an honor to her. For this reason, I named it after her nickname, Fanny, to remember her as an independent and strong person, in hopes that my colonia will be inspired by her character and stand up against the existing violence that hopes our colonia. As an initiation to our campaign, my colleagues from UTPA and TRALA conducted a survey a few months ago to understand in depth how residents feel living in their colonia and what issues they are confronting. I was left baffled by the results. 64% of residents did not feel safe in the colonia. 57% said they were victimized regularly, while 85% stated there was lack of correspondence from the local law enforcement, and 80% said that their neighborhood was dangerous due to crime-related activity. Furthermore, San Cristobal residents will not report these crimes because they fear the retaliation, or worse, they fear that a similar incident like the one my sister, who was pregnant, had to endure. I want residents from Colonia San Cristobal to stop living in fear and stop being discouraged from calling the police anytime there is an illegal activity occurring in the colonia, such as making a report if they witness some tagging mailboxes. The oldest and strongest emotions of man fearing is fear. That was a quote from Lovecraft. And this is the emotion that my colonia is living with. Due to this, I decided to stand up and take action for my sister, for my community, and hopefully with your help, we can make a difference not only to our colonia San Cristobal, but to others in the future. Therefore, I hope to work with Commissioner Joseph Palacios and his staff to find solutions to create a better future for Colonia San Cristobal. Marlene?
Good morning, County Commissioners. My name is Marlene Chavez, Colonia's Policy Analysis for Texas Rio Grande Legal Aid. I am here today on behalf of Erika Ramirez, who was unable to come. She is a resident of San Cristobal, and she wanted to offer her testimony. My name is Erika Ramirez. I live in Colonia San Cristobal for 4 years. I recall when Nayeli Garcia came to my house to ask me if I was a victim of the ongoing criminal activity that exists in the colonia. Like me, my neighbors have been victimized regularly, from theft to vandalism. And not to say the least, where we already lack proper infrastructure, such as street lighting, unpaved roads, and drainage. My home was broken into twice in 2014. The first time, my washing machine was stolen, and police took the report but did not follow up with me. The second time, the police did not arrive. I am only grateful that when these incidents occur, I was not home with my children, or who knows what could have happened to us. I am here because I want my family, my neighbors, to live in a safe community instead of living in constant fear of what other criminal acts will happen next. As a resident of Colonia San Cristobal, I look forward to meeting with my County Commissioner, Joseph Palacios, to find ways to reduce the crime in my colonia and create a safer community. Thank you.
Thank you. Next presenter is Fern McClarity.
You know, one thing, I'm sorry to hear about our relatives, but we have to, we never have a police officer in our hind pocket. So we need to, everybody in the community, watch over everyone else that's there. My question today, I had 3. I don't understand today, y'all did you went business days instead of calendar days. We have 12 to 15 holidays. So when you go the business route, that means there's less business done at the county. So we're just kind of wondering in how y'all changed that, and it's kind of surprised me is if this law firm is the only law firm we have in Hidalgo County or Houston or in the state of Texas, that they couldn't have someone here to explain what was going on and why they felt that they needed an extended time and be allowed for that. And then I was looking at item number 20A2. I believe this is, we're going to spend $5.5 million on vehicles. And I can understand the constables. I'm hoping that they'll watch their P's and Q's. And I understand the sheriff's office. They need vehicles. Each precinct gets $100,000 for vehicles. And the way y'all buy them, they usually run around $30,000, so that's only like $3.333 a vehicle. The county judge, I see you're only possibly going to get one because it's $30,000. And then we couldn't figure out about the Tex Ag. I don't know what the poor thing's going to do with $6,730. He might be able to get something out there but nothing kind of like the county. So, like I say, I'm not sure what they'll be purchasing, but what we ask is that you watch how you spend and what you're spending it on, because the taxpayers, most of us can't afford a new vehicle, and we have to see what the amounts are, try to check all over the state to find the cheapest and best price. And the last thing is, I don't understand why when you have contracts with companies, businesses that are building buildings and things, that you don't have penalties, and I'm talking large penalties, if the job is not done on the date that is said to. Now, if it's raining, we have a hurricane, we understand that. But again, the building, our administration building over there that we're hoping that one day we will get to see and be able to use in our lifetime here, keeps getting extended and extended. So we're just asking, and I do understand, I think he told me that there is one at the end, but we would like y'all to check on a lot of our contracts and put these in. I was in real estate, and I know that you put that in contracts. If you're not able to take care of it, then you're penalized. That moves you to get things going. Thank you.
Next presenter is Daniel Diaz. Daniel Diaz. All right, next presenter is Opal Billman.
Good morning. My name is Opal Billman. I am here because, as the result of being sued for divorce, I have been held 17 years in police-enforced false imprisonment. I would like it to end. During our marriage, Joe and I invested our money and our time in land. Our community property is real estate. We bought, paid for, paid the taxes on, and hold the valid deeds in both of our names for almost 80 acres. We farmed tomatoes, citrus, cotton, grain, and have pastured both cattle and goats, also developed an RV park, and dredged a small private lake on our land. There is no indebtedness on our community property. The court gave no value to or division of our land with capital improvements. When people get married, legal steps are required, and also a divorce is a legal procedure. Existing laws regulate the court's actions. Joe petitioned the court for a divorce. The only job the court had was to issue a fair divorce settlement of our community property between Joe and me. The court determined our community property was excess land with no value and could not be divided. No action was taken by the court to award a divorce settlement of our community property between Joe and me. The court decided that income from our trailer park could profit $650,000 in 15 years and divided the non-existent $650,000, 41% to me and 59% to Joe. This divorce settlement was never brought to conclusion. Because Joe died, the law rules the case must be dismissed, removed from district court. Removal from the court by dismissal of the case invalidates all of the court's incompleted actions. There is no law requiring that a person must leave a will. And if a will is left, there is no law requiring a person to include everything he owns in his will. Joe did not will his community property. When Joe died, our undivided community property became governed by state law. State law passes Joe's property, the estate of Joe Billman, to his 3 heirs, and my community property to me. I have asked for clarification and closure of this case. My requests have been answered with arrest, jail time, 2 trials with threats of a 3rd, and 17 years of police-enforced false imprisonment. Thank you.
Next presenter is Gilbert Sines. And Tony Farina, the voice of the Vipers.
And the Killer Bees. Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. I want to take this time to thank you all for hearing us out this morning. We have some new announcements to be made with the Killer Bees. Last year when I came and presented to you all, I was the marketing director for the Killer Bees. This year the Killer Bees have made history. I am was named the president of the team. And we have made history in the fact that I am the first Hispanic anywhere in the United States to ever be named the president of a hockey team.
Congratulations.
So, thank you, I'm very honored. And so, thank you all. It's the first time that we've ever had a local team, completely local, hire nothing but local individuals to run the front end staff. We're very honored to be there, to be conducting what we're doing with the business with the Bees, that we do, we hold our games. We are junior A hockey team. We play 28 home games every season. Our job is to get these kids they're on the next level up. They're either going to go college or going to go pro. Last year we had 8 players go to Division I schools. We had some players go to Notre Dame, Air Force Academy, some of the bigger schools that are out there. And so we have some presentations we want to make, some things we want to do with the county employees. Me being a former county employee and working for the county government and for the federal government, a lot of times as employees we were overlooked, didn't get some of the benefits of going to some of these games and some of these shows. And so I wanted to do something to give back to the community, being from here. And one of the things that we wanted to do is offer special pricing for the county employees to give them some recognition for being there. We've got an event coming up. With that being said, I want to turn the mic over to the man, the myth, the legend in his own mind, Tony Farina.
I don't know if I can live up to that build-up. Gentlemen, thank you for your time this morning. We have an event coming up on February 6th. It's Guns and Hoses. That's where we recognize our local first responders in the police and fire departments. We have a very special deal for our first responders. They will get a free admission to that night's game when the Bees take on the Amarillo Bulls, and any family member of theirs will pay $7 to get in for the rest of the game. Plus, we have a new special. It's called the Stinger Meal Deal. For $5 more, we'll include the popcorn, hot dog, and a beverage for that night and for upcoming nights. And then starting February 12th, we would like to work with the county and offer special incentives for all of the county employees at a special discounted ticket rate, but we'll be in more details in contact, and we'll have Chris, she'll be our point of contact here with the county.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
It's actually Cindy. Cindy with the I guess she's your assistant? Cindy. Cindy Castro, yes. Okay. And we've been in communication with Mr. Longoria, and so we've been planning this out for a while. We really think that it's something to honor the employees and to give them a chance to come out to the games. It's less expensive than going to a movie. So, and it's a lot of fun. It promotes family environment together. So we want to thank each and every one of you for hearing us out today on your busy schedule. So we want to give back to the county. As being the president of the Killer Bees hockey team, I felt it was my honor, my privilege to give back to the county that gave me at one time. So, thank you.
All right, thank you, gentlemen. Next item, number 7.
Thank you, Judge.
Kira.
Commissioners, there's no action under item 7A, 1 and 2 unless there's action to be taken further down the agenda. I'm going to ask Mr. Alex Palacios to come up and give the court a brief presentation, Cliff's Notes version, update on the administration building.
County Judge, Commissioners, Alex Palacios, and with me is Mr. Joe Lopez. Do you have the, thank you. On behalf of Prodigy Construction Management, we're representing the Hidalgo County first and second floor administrative building, and we're up already? Yeah. Okay. Today's presentation, Cliff Notes version, is that we are moving expeditiously on the project, and with the date that we have was the current observation that you see today will be January the 16th, with the completion date of April 17th, 2015. That date is very important because in December of last year, or November of last year, upon consensus, that is the drop-down date that was agreed upon by everyone involved, including the architect and the general contractor, Wilson Construction. Today, the project is approximately 80% completion, application number 14, and there's approximately $860,000, $902.93 pending, including retainage. We've entertained 84 RFIs, 82 have been approved. We've taken on a change request 84, with 80 have been approved. And the next contractor application is $37,900. Again, we're at 80%. Attached, you will see just a snapshot of the progress of the project, and Mr. Lopez will go ahead and just continue with the overall of the project as far as at the site.
Thank you. Good morning, Commissioners. Very quickly, the progress on the project, the second floor is a little bit further than the first. You will see that there's some mill work already being installed. The cabinets are being installed, floor tiles, wall tiles, fixtures, plumbing fixtures. And in different areas, you'll see that the door frames are up, the doors are up, and they are painting about 90% of the whole facility is already under some kind of paint going through. You'll see the stairway being completed at the north lobby, and you'll see the rails are already in. They're doing the last parts of the gypsum board, and you'll see the ceiling tracks are up. Some of the light fixtures are already installed, and the next 3 weeks is going to be very important. Next 2-3 weeks will be a lot of the finishes. The colors are to the final selections now, and the mechanical rooms, electrical rooms are almost completed. And just to let you know that it's progressing as fast as we can right now. Just the countertops, vinyl tops, everything's already in place. So we're moving towards the April completion date.
The last item is a timeline submitted by the general contractor, Wilson Construction. As you notice at the upper corner on the far right, April 17th is the drop date. That date is being held paramount as the Commissioners Court had agreed to that date. Some of the efforts that are being taken on is that some of the work is being farmed out so that we can maintain the April 17th date. Any questions? Thank you.
April 17th,
2015.
2015?
That was the agreed upon date that in November, December, sir, at that Commissioners Court meeting. The architect is fully aware and the general contractor. There are times that that date wants to stretch and move on either by the architect himself or submission by the general contractor. But we expressed wholeheartedly that April 17th to both parties, it will not move. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Judge.
Yes.
I'm going to ask that we recess Commissioners Court and open the 11:15 a.m. Commissioners Court number 2 on a TERS matter.
Do you have an agenda?
Yes, I have an agenda, Judge. Let me give it to you. So if we can recess this court.
This time, we're going to recess this Commissioners Court meeting and convening The Hidalgo County Commissioners Court meeting set for January the 20th, 2015 at 11:15 a.m. The entire court being present, we have a quorum. Item number 2A.
Judge, Commissioners,
ahead.
actually, we are waiting on Ramiro Garza to come in with the presentation. So if you want to go back to the regular court.
All right, we're
we can
going to
get back
recess this Commissioners Court meeting for 11:15 and reconvene our regular Commissioners Court.
Okay.
Item C.
Item C, Judge Commissioners, it's under Tropical Texas Behavioral Health. I'm asking approval of payment to the Tropical Texas Behavioral Health for fiscal year 2015. It's our county's allocation. It's a required local match. The dollar amount is $657,472, and this is for the DSHS contract. This is in accordance with the Texas Health and Safety Code 534.066. As always, we ask this with the authority of the county treasurer to issue a check after review, audit, and process procedures are completed by our county auditor's office.
Move for approval.
Second.
He resigned. Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Let me just go ahead. I see Ms. Ramiro in the audience, but let me just finish this item up. The second action item is I'm asking approval of payment to Tropical Texas Behavioral Health for fiscal year 2015. Again, a county allocation match in the amount of $248,109. This is for psychiatric emergency crisis services. Again, as always, with authority of the county treasurer to issue check after review, audit, and processing procedures are completed by our county auditor's office. Total payment amount, $905,581.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Before you go on, Bobby, is Jaime here? Jaime, can you check into whether or not we have replaced Yoli Olivares with a new board member, or if there's a vacancy on the Tropical Texas Mental MHMR? Okay, go ahead, sir.
We need to recess this court and open up the court number 2.
All right, this time we're recessing our regular Commissioners Court meeting and reconvening our 11:15 a.m. Commissioners Court meeting.
All right, morning, Judge, Commissioners, once again. What we have before you today on these two items, there was a lot of back and forth late in the week, last week, and even yesterday. Right now, the two legals haven't been able to formalize all that we need on these two items. However, we do need to get some court advice or recommendations on a proposed Edinburgh TERS. And today we have Ramiro Garza and Gus Garcia from Edinburgh to kind of discuss what the proposal is. And Michael Leo just, I think, gave you some spreadsheets on the projected costs and what the proposed TERS would do. But with that, I'll let Ramiro expand upon the project.
Thank you, Bobby. Good morning, Judge and Commissioners.
Morning, sir.
Gus Garcia is with me. He's the Executive Director of our EDC. We wanted to just, I think we've presented briefly, it's been a little over a year, a project we've been working on along 281 in Alberta. We created a new tax increment reinvestment zone, number 4, for the city of Edinburgh. And at the time, it was very preliminary. We came to y'all to just let y'all know about that creation of that zone. And since then, we've been spending a lot of time trying to bring it together, how we're going to finance the improvements. What it has to do with is a new entertainment center. It's an arena along 281. And it's a development of about 35 acres along the expressway. What we're asking the court is to participate with the city in the designation of those 35 acres on the northeast area of Alberta and 281, to also include some property on the southwest area of Trenton and 281, where there's a new proposed HEB that's going to be built, and to also include a property, I think of about 25 acres along Canton Road on the southeast area of Canton and 281, where there's a Walmart that's been built there. Those 3 tracks would be part of this TERS, number 4. And we were looking to, obviously get the future revenues that would be generated in those tracks to pay for the public improvements for the new arena. After looking into it and figuring out how to best set it up structurally, we've gone back and evaluated the possibility of including TERS number 1. We have 4 in Edinburgh. The tax income reinvestment zone number 1, the county is a partner with us on that. That is a development of a shopping center. First Hartford Realty, back in 2007, committed to develop a 130-acre tract, and it's been very successful. Through your help, the participation of the county, it has been able to develop about 500,000 square feet of retail, and it's really transformed that whole area around Trenton Road as y'all drive by there. I think that was the key, anchor development there where JCPenney is, Academy, and that's all part of that development. What we're proposing as a way to finance all the improvements for the new arena is we are looking, and I think that's what's on the agenda for y'all to consider, 2 things. One is we'd like to terminate the agreement of the participation that y'all had for that shopping center. So we'll terminate the agreement that y'all have with the city and paying back for the development costs, the incentives that were proposed. And the reason we'd like to do that on one proposed requested action item is because we want to be able to use those revenues towards the new TERS for the arena. And we have our bond counsel. We've had a couple of firms that we've hired to evaluate legally if that could be done, and it could. And it would take terminating that agreement, which means the responsibility that we had to pay back for that TERS number 1, it'll just shift towards the new arena of this new proposed TERS. The other thing we're requesting is to extend the TERS, I believe, for about 7.
From 2037 to 2045.
It'll be about 7 more years. I think this TERS number 1 is supposed to expire 2037, so we're looking to extend it to 2045. Those are the 2 really action items that we're asking for. Obviously, the participation of the county is vital to this. We are asking for the county, I believe we have a policy of 50%, and we're asking for an 80% contribution by the county. That will help us really finalize the financial structure. And I should say, though, I think we ran some y'all ran some numbers on the existing TERS. I think the county ended up putting about $900,000 over the last 5 years. But you obviously didn't put that up front. It was put in only after the improvements were there. But we were able to realize about $35 million in values in that TERS in itself. So, and we're now paying it off in a little over 5 years. So it's been very successful. We see the arena project is probably much the same. Maybe not in 5 years, but it's 30-year TERS, but it's going to be a lot less because of all the activity that's going to be generated. But I think these mechanisms of the TERS is going to be the key to developing this. This is not anything new that we're asking this court to consider. Other areas around the state, this is how they pay for sports arenas. These TERS have been in place for a long time to be able to do that. I think the most recent one is City of Frisco. I think they're building a new Cowboys training facility, and they're using an existing TERS that they have with the county. In that case, the school district can participate because I think it was in existence before the law changed. So, but it's the city and the county and their EDC that are helping put in the revenues necessary to pay for that participation. And so I think there is a policy, if Gus, you want to elaborate, that y'all do have for sports arenas. I think you can go up to 100% of your M&O. It wouldn't be all the tax rate, it would just be of your M&O. So we obviously would just welcome your support. We think it'd be vital. It'll be a continued positive, I think, partnership for us as we've had with the shops. Gus, do you want to?
Sure.
Please.
Good morning, Commissioners, Judge.
Yes,
Gus
sir.
Garcia for the record.
Mr. Garza is right. I think that the shops has been a success in its own, as you know. He mentioned that there's been approximately 500,000 square feet of retail space. It's generating approximately 1.2, 1.3 million annually in TERS revenue. So basically, this TERS is capped at $30 million for the new arena. It's approximately $65 million project. The shops, which is First Hartford, which has the current agreement, they've agreed to release the obligation on the agreement because they recognize the impact that an arena of this magnitude would have on the area. And really, that's what we're trying to accomplish here is more development, offer this 8,500 seat arena, as you know, and hopefully spur additional development in the area, thereby increasing more sales tax generation, property tax generation. Hopefully it'll have the same impact that the shops has had. So historically you can see that the TERS has been very effective in creating more ad valorem taxes for the county as well as sales tax revenue for the county. So we're asking to add to the existing area, and that's basically what I wanted to, I guess, inform you of, is that the shops is on board with this particular structure in releasing them from the TERS because they feel it's going to increase the activity. As a matter of fact, they have several commitments from different retailers, restaurants, et cetera, that would love to see this arena go through. So we anticipate even more development that would help fund those particular projects. And that's all I have.
Yeah, I just wanted to add real quick that the 30 million, that is capped, so it's not going to go beyond that. So if we get there within 10 years, then the commitment is already been met. The developer is putting in the remaining portion. So if it started off at 50 million, I remember, but because of the additions they've made and everything, they're covering whatever amounts. It's now at about 65 million, which means that developers put it in 35, we'll put it in 30. And that is being put in as part of the construction costs.
All right, so you got 35 acres where the building's going to be located. And how many acres on Alberta and 281?
On Alberta and 281?
Yes.
Well, that's a 35-acre tract, Judge. That tract there where the arena is going is a total of about 35 acres. I think there's, the arena will be built there, and then there's going to be some pad sites on the front.
But you're trying to incorporate the HEB and...
Yes, sir. Down Trenton Road.
Walmart or one of the other stores?
What are the other acreage sizes for the Trenton South corner where the HEB is going?
Well, the HEB is about 24 acres, I believe, and the Walmart is about the same.
Okay.
So we're looking at about roughly, about 80 acres total.
Now, this project's developer-owned? This is not a city-owned, it's a developer-owned project. We're just offering the TERS agreement to this private developer who will own this facility.
Well, actually, the way we've structured it, we're trying to structure it is we've created a local government finance corporation.
Okay, so that's...
And so that's who's going to own the facility, and that's how it's going to be built. The developer put in the money into the construction, but it will be owned by the local government finance corporation. Then they will lease it from the local government finance corporation.
And it's an existing one. You've already developed one. There's a...
Yes. We've created the structure, yes, sir.
So are there board members at this point? Or who are they represented by?
The board right now is a council, again, we just created the structure right now. It's open in terms of, in fact, I think today's the first meeting. We have our council meeting today, and the local government finance corporation is going to meet for the first time, I think, on this.
How many slots have you set aside for the county commissioners?
I don't know. I think there's a makeup of about 5 or...
There's 5, but there hasn't been any designation on whether they be county or city. It's open to...
members of the board?
Excuse me?
To sit on the board?
Yes.
Of this local governing entity?
It could be expanded, Judge. I mean, I think...
Ramiro, the only reason I'm going with this is because our involvement in there. The other thing is that we're having to terminate existing contracts that we have on developments that are already in place. So there's a heavy involvement of what the county's going to be given into it. So I think it'd behoove that this finance corporation is made up of I'm not saying majority, but I'm just saying there should be some involvement in regards to a designee of board members to serve on that.
Okay, no problem. We wouldn't have, obviously any problem. This is a partnership we're going to have with y'all.
Yeah.
We just need to know how many
Yes.
members overall. I think we have 5 right now.
Excuse me, Ramiro.
The proposed terms of the agreement and the resolution were not attached for, we have not had a chance to review them for compliance with the TERS guidelines. And also, I have a question whether or not legal has reviewed that to make sure that it complies with the TERS statutes.
Well, there's an urgency, am I correct?
Well, we wanted to present to you first and then come back perhaps with an agreement that could be formulated.
Okay. So
Today, I think
we
we
don't
can
have
get,
to act on it today, then?
well, we would like to maybe get some direction from the court as to your participation and your willingness to extend the term. Those are things that then we can go back and incorporate into an agreement. I think at this point, we're trying to finalize a financial structure that we can go and eventually get an investment grade on for the financing that we're seeking. So knowing, obviously, the extent that y'all could participate will go a long way. I mean, formally, I think we'll have to come back and have y'all approve the actual, I think there's going to be an interlocal agreement with the terms I think the auditor's bringing up, and those will include what you would like to have in place.
If I may, and make a recommendations, if it's in fact that you are requesting 80% along with what you've requested related to the termination of the existing contract from the shopping center and extending extending it to 7 years, I would hope that maybe the court can offer that on that 5-member board that you do include the county judge to sit on that board as well as the sitting commissioner. 2 members is I mean, I'm not looking for, I mean, I'm not advocating a majority control by any means. It's just an involvement, being the fact that this is a partnership deal to realize this opportunity, and it is in the county and the precinct that it resides in. But that would be my direction. That's my recommendation to the board if they would consider it.
Judge, Commissioners, one thing I wanted to add, and I think Michael passed out a sheet of some spreadsheets there.
Can you get close to that, Mike?
Okay. I just want to point out also that, you know, we've done TERSs in the past before, and generally when a TERS has to do with residential, it's just residential. So it doesn't grow as much as you would think. When it has to do with a retail infrastructure like the shops, well, as you can see, it was supposed to be a 20-year TERS. Well, it's getting knocked out in, 6-7 years. So primarily when this facility is built, the frontage, the pad sites in front, and all the other retail sites, the half-cent sales tax that they contribute towards paying the TERS can really extinguish the county's commitment really quickly. So the numbers that I put there, these are based on projections that sales tax won't grow, that things will be pretty flat. So in essence, I think that the commitment from the entities to reimburse, the developer is going to stay with the excess amount above 30 million, the 30 million principal payments that the county and city would do. So, these projections I think could be favorable to the county and city, especially with retail, because if I'm not mistaken, Ramiro can probably corroborate this, but that I'm thinking the retail sales at the Trenton shops probably exceed the property tax.
Yes.
I don't think there's any question. Commissioner Palacios doesn't appear to be questioning our involvement with the TERS. What he's talking about is the ownership of, by that Government Facilities Commission of that project, that stadium. And the Commissioners Court having 2 representatives out of the 5 sitting on that board that's going to be controlling that operation.
And Judge and Commissioners, we have a meeting today of that board. We have a lot of items on their agenda, and we'll bring that up to them. I don't believe there's an issue with adding that, or maybe even adding 2 additional members to have 7, if y'all would be okay with that. I think that's what we've done in the past with another TERS. If y'all are okay with that, we can add 2 additional slots so that y'all can have representation, if y'all are okay with that. I think that's a structure, again, by ordinance that's approved by the council that, if you want to get involved, believe me, we welcome your involvement. This is a great project, so.
Yeah, I think in light of future projects as well as we're tackling the courthouse and some of the others, I think partnerships are the way to go. It just balances everything out.
Sure.
Judge, but also the tax code allows creation of TERSs in areas that will not be developed otherwise. It appears to me this area is already developed.
Well, that's why I put the emphasis on representation on this finance corporation, because we're considering something that's already been developed.
But it was developed because of another tourist, you know.
Well, the trust was created in order to develop the
He had
the
to
area?
develop that Renton and 281 expressway area.
No, but the new one they're creating, it's a brand new one that they're creating.
Right. But that's part of that whole area.
Okay.
And what's going to make it go is that new stadium.
Yeah. And that's fine. I just wanted for legal counsel to take a look at it and see if it complies with the tax code.
Okay, anything else?
I guess the direction of the court is what we're seeking today is the proposed levels of 50 or 80%, or whatever the discretion is of the court. You see the figures there.
Yes.
So,
I was making the recommendation of 80. I think I made it clear.
okay.
Action for that?
I think we're just giving direction, right, Judge?
Right, that's all they're asking for right now. They're going to come back with a written agreement that we can act on.
The one item that I think there is, I don't know if it's been reviewed completely, is the termination of the agreement for TERS 1. Do y'all want to consider that? Okay.
I think legal
Yeah, we'll
wanted
consider
us to
that.
wait,
Okay.
right, Steve?
Not a problem.
And I think Valde, I think because of the time constraint, we may need a meeting next week, right? So
Yes.
I guess he'll pull you later.
That'd be very helpful if we could, do that. Yeah.
So there's no action on A and B, 2A and B?
No.
All right.
Bobby,
you.
do we need action on any of it?
I think just some direction was good enough.
Direction only, correct?
You got your direction?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you all. Appreciate it.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, so.
All right, next item.
No, we adjourned this.
Adjourn that meeting and
we
reconvene.
adjourned this
Oh, that's
meeting
correct.
And then open up.
You got too many meetings going on, Bobby.
So Judge,
At this time, we need a motion to adjourn.
Don't move.
Those in favor say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries. This time, we're going to reconvene our regular meeting.
42.
Valde, you're up.
Thank you, Judge. Okay, item
Let's
D.
see.
Item D, yes, where I'm asking approval of payment of attorney vouchers. They were not submitted within the first 3 months of disposition as per local rules of administration adopted under Texas Local Government Code 74.093. They are on the addenda and attached as backup. They are from Daniel Quintero Longoria in connection with legal representation of energy defendants with the, as always, with the authority of the county treasurer to issue payment after review and auditing procedures are completed by the county auditor.
Judge,
Yes, sir.
a little background on this item. The reason that they're before you is because the local rules that the district courts don't allow the payment of these invoices. So the attorneys bring it up
Right.
as a claim.
Right, it's a claim. I mean, there's no doubt that the service was provided by the attorney. There are 4, 200, 200, 300, and 200 respectively, for a total of $900. Again, there's
All
no...
right.
I'm sorry, Judge. I was going to say, again, there's no question that the service was performed.
I would need a motion to approve then.
So move.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you. Item E, I'm asking approval of the 2015 Museum Funding Agreement between the County of Hidalgo and the Museum of South Texas History. Our annual agreement in the amount of $270,000.
Move for approval?
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item F, right-of-way approval to accept a right-of-way donation deed from Charlotte ISD for the expansion of Sherry Road, which is 0.8084 of an acre, and there was a concern raised by the auditor's office. For the record, there is an estimated value of $24,252. This is based on properties appraised in the surrounding area, and so the value of the property being donated for the above-mentioned parcel, again, is approximately $24,252.
Move for approval?
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item G, Judge Commissioners, I'm asking authority to, as Executive Officer for the county, to sign City of Edinburgh's application for nonprofit rental rates for the use of the Edinburgh Activity Center for our county health fair.
Move for approval.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item H, I'm asking approval of a credit application and agreement with Mueller, Inc., which is metal roofing, in order to purchase our needed material for the county facility repair and new installation, as well as authorize myself to sign the appropriate documents.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Second part is approval of credit application with First Tech Construction Materials LLC. This is in order to purchase needed material for the county facility repair and new installation, and again, authorize myself as executive officer to sign all appropriate documentation.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item I, I'm asking approval to accept 2 settlement checks from Texas Farm Bureau Casualty Insurance Company in the amount of $9,955.14 and $1,324.61. This will settle a remaining amount for our total loss with one of our county vehicles.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item J, I'm asking to accept the settlement check from Peachtree Casualty Insurance Company in the amount of $1,004.68. Again, this will settle an auto accident with one of our county vehicles.
Move for approval.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item K, Judge Commissioners, I'm going to ask, as this is a countywide issue, I'm going to ask the chiefs of staff for the precincts that have been working on this. It's discussion and possible action regarding Colonia Conventional Lighting Program initiated by Hidalgo County. I know that there's been meetings that have been held with each respective precinct. I know the commissioners are extremely involved in this project. Again, I thought it was important to bring this to court and, if nothing else, to update and put on the record the initiatives by the individual commissioners on this project. Yes?
Good morning, Judge Commissioner. Jesse Osuna for Commissioner Palacios' office. We had a rally that we attended last week. Commissioner Cuellar and my boss, Commissioner Palacios, was there. Commissioner Cantu and Commissioner Flores sent representatives.
As well as the county judge.
As well as the county judge. There's a push from the Colonia advocates like Lupe, Rise, Azteca for a firm solution to our lack of lighting in the colonias. Shortly after that, actually the day after that rally, we met, myself and Precinct 2 with planning and the budget office, just as an initial meeting. We have a meeting scheduled for tomorrow at 11 at Precinct 2 office, and we're going to invite a representative from the sheriff's office, from every precinct, the county judge, the district attorney, and constables if available, to kind of go over how we're going to tackle this. We have stated that we're going to start a pilot program. I've been in contact along with Mando Garza from Commissioner Cantu's office with providers, AEP and Magic Valley, to see how we're going to be able to do this initiative. We have some solutions. I've reached out to our legislators as well for some enacted legislation to allow the county to give us another avenue of probably collecting in the future. Nothing is set in stone. It's just initial talk, but I know everybody's office is going to be getting calls from these organizations looking for the status, and we just want the county as a whole to be doing, giving the same. We're going to be singing the same music, dancing the same dance all around the county, and I know we're off to a good start. I know we're just 3 days into it, but we just wanted to inform the court of what we're going to be doing to try and solve this issue that's so desperately needed around the county.
Judge Commissioners, some of the things we found out was, the county's been addressing this lighting issue for several years now. Solar light systems have been placed in. The cost for each unit had been somewhere anywhere between $6,000 to $8,000. We've seen infrastructure some subdivisions that included lighting infrastructure. It's gotten to the point to where the electrical providers have removed some of the fixtures. One of the ideas is to take the pilot where we're looking at already having existing infrastructure to be able to utilize that infrastructure and try to solve the way how we can engage with the electrical provider to obviously collect and successfully illuminate areas. Obviously, we're still in the infancy stage, as Jesse said, and there's a lot of ideas, a lot of out-of-the-box thinking. I want to thank Mando and the rest of the chief of staffs that have addressed some of the things that we traditionally don't do. What we don't want to do is create another vulnerability for the county, of which we'll have to look at it from the financial sense, but offer more solutions to be able to take care of the finance aspects where it's not going to be an additional burden of the county. But they're going to work diligently. We got a good group of people, and I'm certain they're going to be solutions soon. So I just want to thank them and as well as the court for being committed to find solutions.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Item 8A.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners.
Morning.
Deputy Puente with the Constable's Office, filling in for Martin Cantu. Item A, 8A, A1, 48010, presentation and discussion of the 2014 Racial Profile Report as presented by the Hidalgo County Constable's Precinct 2 Office in accordance with the Article 2.133 of the Texas Code of Criminal Procedures.
Move for approval.
Second. Those in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
Item 8B, A1, 48013, requesting authorization of the county judge to execute the 2015 Equitable Sharing Agreement of Certification Report.
Judge, that should be 2014 instead of 2015, the year.
The 2014 has already been done.
It should be a
for
correction.
this year.
It needs to be a correction. It should be 2014.
This is for this year.
Right. But it should be 2015.
You are correct.
Yeah.
We'll
Just
correct
like the Constable Precinct 4 presented
correct.
earlier, it's 2014.
Move for approval with a correction.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. Item 9A, RHR.
Under 9A, the Elections Department, discussion, consideration, and approval to create the following temporary full-time positions, not to exceed 6 months. Slot 166, slot 167, 168, 169, 170, and 171 election clerks at $10.10 an hour.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
And 2 is the approval of the intra-departmental transfer and the approval of the revised salary schedule in accordance with Commissioners Court action.
Move for approval. 2 and 3.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
Under 9B, under HR, approval of the following personnel actions effective next full pay period of 1/26/15. Delete auto allowance from slot 2, executive assistant 3 at 3,500, and add it to slot 5, human resource specialist at 3,500.
Move for approval.
And I'm sorry.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
And approval of the revised salary schedule in accordance to Commissioners Court action.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
9C, Health and Human Services Division, Health Department Administration, approval of the following personnel actions: to delete a vacant slot 35, Coordinator 3 at $48,149, and to create slot 55 under the Health Department Administration, Coordinator 3 at $48,149.
Move for approval.
Second.
That's also 2 and 3.
2 and
Yes,
3.
Your Honor.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you. Under D, the Sheriff's Department, approval of the following position title changes only, effective next full pay period of 1/26/15. Slot 3, 4, 369, and 0001. They're division commanders. They'd like to change them to division chiefs.
And also, that includes the jail side.
Move for approval.
I'm sorry?
Second.
That includes the jail side as well.
Okay.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
And approval of the revised salary schedule in accordance to Commissioners Court action.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Under D1, Courthouse Security, approval of the following personnel actions effective next full pay period of 1/26/15. Delete a vacant slot 14, Security Specialist at $32,769, and create slot 16, Detention Officer, Step 2, at $32,461. And also the approval of the revised salary schedule in accordance to Commissioners Court action.
Move for approval. 1 and 2.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item E, Texas AgriLife Extension Service, approval of the following personnel actions, effective next full pay period of 1/26, and that should be 15, not 14. To delete slot 2, the 4-H Youth Outreach Coordinator at $34,804. Delete vacant slot 3, Administrative Assistant 2, $31,045, and create Administrative Assistant 3 at $34,045, and create a Community Outreach Program Specialist at $31,804. And approval of-
1 and 2. Judge,
Yes.
the job descriptions for the new positions were not attached to the...
Yes, we have it,
agenda.
and we submitted it already.
All right.
Need a second?
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye. 1 and 2.
Aye, motion carries.
That was 1 and 2, right, Judge?
1 and 2.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, and I think on item F, Roy's here to present for the DA.
Morning, Judge Commissioners. Item F1, discussion and approval of consideration of the following personnel actions effective 1/26 of 2015. Delete slot number 2. It's an attorney 3 at the amount of $63,500, and create slot 109 as an assistant district attorney 3 at $63,500. Delete slot number 4, an attorney 3 at $52,002, and create it at slot 110 as an assistant district attorney 3 at $52,002. Delete slot 92 as an assistant district attorney 2 at $52,002, and then create slot 6 as an attorney 2 at $52,002, and then delete slot 102 as an assistant district attorney 2 at $52,002, and create an attorney 2 at $52,002. And item number 2 is approval of interdepartmental transfer, and 3 is approval of revised salary schedule in accordance with Commissioner's Court action. Number 4 is approval to transfer employee number 189294 to position 080020109, and number 5 is approval of transfer employee number 189286 to position 08000201110.
Move for
Judge.
approval, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5.
Judge, the transfer forms were not attached to the agenda item?
They've been submitted already, sir.
Been submitted? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
The next item is discussion and consideration of the following personnel actions effective 1/26/2005 is to create slot 32, the administrative assistant 1 at the amount of $30,000.
Move for approval.
And, I'm sorry, and create slot 33, criminal investigator 2, in the amount of $3,000, and create slot 34, executive assistant 2, in the amount of $21,906, and delete the coordinator 1 position at the amount of $35,391. Item number 2 is approval of title change for slot 080002-0107 from administrative assistant 1 to executive assistant 2. Number 3 is approval of interdepartmental transfer. Number 4 is approval to revise the salary schedule in accordance with Commissioner's Court action.
Move for approval, 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Judge,
Yes.
funds have been transferred, however, sufficient funds had not been transferred for this action.
That was, has been addressed already, sir.
I'm sorry?
That was addressed already by the Budget Office?
Well, they had not been transferred yet, the funds.
Okay.
So when you say an address, mean that you're going to transfer the money later on, Sergio?
Yes.
Approved subject to?
To fund it, yeah, okay.
All right, those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
The next section, the next item is approval of title changes only to allocated slots as follows. It's slot 109 from Assistant District Attorney 2 to Attorney 2. Slot 109 under Program 16, Assistant District Attorney 2 to Attorney 2. Slot 111 from Program 007 from an Assistant District Attorney 2 to an Attorney 2. Slot 14 from Program 16 as an Assistant District Attorney 2 to Attorney 2, and slot 16 from Program 16 from Attorney 3 to an Assistant District Attorney 3, and number 3 is approval to revise the salary schedule in accordance with the Commissioner's Court action.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Next item is discussion, approval, and consideration of the following personnel action effective next full pay period of 1/26/2015, and approval to create the following temporary part-time positions not to exceed 6 months beginning 1/21/2015 through 6/30/2015. The first one is salary adjustment and increase, slot 28. It's an executive assistant. Current budget, the salary is 15,091. Increase it to 21,411. That's a change of $6,320. The next one is create temporary slot 125, a clerk 4, in the amount of $8,320. And the next one is create slot 126, it's a clerk 1, in the amount of $7,500. The next one is delete the intake clerk slot 101, in the amount of $33,280. And item number 2 is approval of interdepartmental transfer. Number 3 is approval to revise the salary schedule. Number 4 is approval to waive posting of the clerk 4 and clerk 1 positions.
Roy, on the agenda caption, you're talking about being effective on 1/26/15, but then later on saying beginning 1/21/2015. So which date are we going to follow?
The part-time positions, if they could begin tomorrow, 1/21, and the 1/26 is the next full pay period.
So it's effective tomorrow or
The
effective
salary-
26?
No, if we can create those part-time positions effective 1/26.
1/26?
1/26 through 6/30.
Okay, thank you.
So not 121?
No, correct, 26.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Next item is discussion, approval, consideration of following personal action, salary adjustment increase in slot 001 for the Assistant District Attorney 5. The current budgeted salary is $48.75. The proposed is $9,875, net change of $5,000. The next one is salary adjustment for slot number 8 for the Assistant District Attorney 4. Presently, the current budget salary is $2,348. Proposed is $19,348. The net change is $17,000. And item number 2 is approval of the revised salary schedule.
Move for approval. Second.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
All right, item 11, Urban County.
Under Urban County, approval of the following personnel actions effective next full pay period, 1/26/2015. Delete clerk 2, slot 6, clerk 2 at $22,303. Delete executive assistant 1 at $41,280, and create slot 32, assistant deputy director at $63,583. And the approval to revise the salary schedule in accordance with Commissioner's Court action.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
Under the next item is for Precinct 1, discussion, consideration, and approval of the following salary adjustments effective 1/26/15. Salary adjustment to slot 10, heavy equipment operator 3, from $27,405 to heavy equipment operator 3 at $30,324. Total adjustment, $2,919.
Judge, this action goes against your policy that you have referenced increasing positions and increasing funding. I'm sorry?
And if I may, by virtue of it being on Commissioner's Court and by action by Commissioner's Court, that creates the exception of the waiver to the policy.
All right. So I just wanted to, for the
All right.
record, say that.
We have a motion and a second. Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
And that would include the approval to waive Section 322 of the Civil Service Rules and reclassify the following full-time position as per Section 3.22 through 3.28 of the Civil Service Commission Rules effective 1/26/15. Reclassify Slot 7, Clerk Receptionist at $29,150 to Accounts Payable Clerk at $32,150, total adjustment of $3,000. Reclassify Slot 46, Heavy Equipment Operator at $27,124 to Heavy Equipment Operator 3 at $30,324, total adjustment at $3,200. Reclassify Slot 109, Heavy Equipment Operator 3 at $30,342 to Crew Leader 2 at $33,542, total adjustment of $3,200.
Judge.
Approval of the transfer and approval to revise the salary schedule in accordance to Commissioners Court action.
Move for approval.
Judge,
Yes.
this item is approval to waive Civil Service Commission rules. Those rules are governed by the Civil Service Commission, and I guess it's a legal question. Does Commissioners Court have authority to waive?
Do we have that, Steve?
I think you would need approval of the civil service along with your approval.
So do we wait till we get it, or do we?
I think
act
you can
on-
go ahead and approve this subject to civil service approval.
All right.
That's my motion.
That's my second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Under J, discussion and consideration approval of the following salary adjustments effective 1/26/15. To slot number 6, Supervisor, budgeted at $30,900. To Supervisor, proposed budget at $32,000, total adjustment at $1,100. Salary adjustment to slot 30, Mechanic 2, budgeted at $29,660. To a Mechanic 2, budgeted, proposed at $33,000, total adjustment at $3,340. And salary adjustment to slot 74, Heavy Equipment Operator 3, budgeted at $28,840. To Heavy Equipment Operator 3, proposed at $33,000, total adjustment at $41,60.
Move for approval.
No, this is for only the action for one? Is this what the?
J1?
Yes.
Yeah.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Good Judge, again, just for the record, this is also in violation of the policy, but it says that once we approve it,
Right, and,
it is okay.
yeah, and same, yes.
Go ahead.
Item 2 is approval to waive Section 3.22 of the Civil Service Commission Rules and reclassify the following full-time positions as per Section 3.22 through 3.28 of the Civil Service Commission Rules effective 1/26/15. To reclassify Slot 37 from a Maintenance 2, budgeted $29,217, to a Traffic Safety Specialist 1, proposed at $31,000, total adjustment of $1,783. And a-
Those
Again,
in
this is
favor,
subject-
say aye.
Subject to.
To approval by the Civil Service
Yes,
Commission.
Yes.
Civil service.
All
And
right,
I
those
will
in-
work with HR for the next civil service meeting.
And number 4 was approval of...
Hold on. Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Go ahead.
And number 4 was approval to revise the salary schedule in accordance with Commissioners Court action.
Approval. Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Item 10.
Item 10A1 is authorization and approval to accept award number G15SS0002A from the cooperative agreement between Hidalgo County and the Executive Office of the President, Office of National Drug Control Policy in the amount of $135,084 from the period of 1/1/2015 to 12/31/2016.
Can you cover the rest?
Yes, sir. Number 2 is approval of certification of revenues as certified by the County Auditor's Office. Number 3 is approval of appropriation of funds for the Hidalgo County HIDA Task Force in the amount of $135,084 for fiscal year 2015. Number 4 is approval to revise the salary schedule in accordance with Commissioners Court action.
For approval.
Need a second?
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
10B1 is approval of appropriation of funds in the amount of $40,000 for the Chapter 59 asset forfeiture budget. And number 2 is approval of the following personnel action effective next pay period. Salary adjust increased from Chapter 59, Slot G025, in the commander position, increasing it by $30,000. And then number 3 is approval to revise salary schedule in accordance with Commissioners Court action.
Move for approval. Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
Item 11, our Sheriff's Office.
Judge, Commissioners, hello, how are y'all? Richard Ozuna, Sheriff's Office, Hidalgo County, on behalf of our Sheriff Eddie Guerra. 11A, under number 1, is the approval of the Organized Crime Drug Enforcement Task Force, which is the OCDEF, agreement between Hidalgo County Sheriff's Office and the Drug Enforcement Administration, McAllen District, Houston Division Office, Strike Force Group D-81.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Under item number 2 is the approval of certification of revenues as certified by our county auditor for the OCDEF grant contract SWTXS 0968.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Under number 3 is the approval to appropriate the OCDEF grant award in the amount of $6,000 for equipment and supplies.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next item.
Item 12A, requesting permission to allow Hidalgo County Health and Human Services Department, in partnership with Hidalgo County Emergency Management, to host and provide training for local amateur radio operators. The training will be conducted at the Hidalgo County EOC and utilize the EOC's amateur radio equipment and equipment brought by local amateur radio operators. The field day exercise will be on February 7th, 2015.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
Item 12B, requesting approval to submit grant application to the National Institute of Health. Grant funds are to support conferences that are relevant to the NIHS's mission and to public health.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
And there's no action on 12C or 12D. Thank you.
Next item, 13, adult probation. Sergio, why don't you cover that so we can get it done?
Item 13A, 1 and 2 is approval of certification of revenues as certified by the county auditor for the DWI program income in the amount of $13,748.50.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
And item 2 is approval of the appropriation of those funds, again, in the amount of $13,748.50.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Thank you. Item 14, Urban County.
Good afternoon, Judge, Commissioners. Item A is the Urban County Program is requesting the award of bids and approval of contracts with G&G contractors for the demolition and reconstruction of the following: 2 units in the countywide area, 1 unit in the city of San Juan, 1 unit in the city of Mercedes. Total contract amount is $200,200 to G&G contractors.
Second.
Judge, one of those contracts was not attached for review.
Was what?
One of those contracts for, one of those individuals was not attached for review.
We have all the, as far as my packet here, they should have been, but I have all of them in here with me
Why don't
right
you
now.
follow up, make sure he gets it?
Yes, sir.
I need a motion in a second.
So move.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries, subject to the auditor approval after reviewing the contract.
Correct.
Okay. Item B, authorization to proceed with condemnation proceedings on parcel number 34 for Delta Area Connector East Lateral Drain Project.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Item 15, Head Start.
Good morning. We have 3 items. The first one is the approval of the self-assessment, and that's an annual event, and it's scheduled January the 26th to February the 6th, and it does need approval.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
The next item is requesting approval to prepare a 5-year program application based on the designation renewal system. This system puts all programs in a cycle. We have always had indefinite funding, and now it's going to definite funding, and our program is going in there this coming year based on information related to class. Class has to do with the performance of our teachers, and it had to do with an area in emotional support. The class they began using class, this is the second year, and so we are subject to turning in a 5-year application. So we are requesting approval to move forward to prepare that application. We still are lacking details in that particular area. We had sent a letter informing us of the application process that we would be going through, and the commissioners got that letter earlier. Are there any questions?
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
The third item is on the appointment for Commissioner Palacios.
I'll bring it back. I'm trying to find the perfect
Okay,
candidate.
we'll
I've got a couple
continue to put it
options.
on,
Thank
and
you.
when you're ready, we'll
Thank
put-
you.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Item 16, our Auditor's Office.
Judge, on an annual basis, we audit the Chapter 59 reports for the Sheriff's Office, HIDA constables, and all the constables.
All
So
right.
we're asking approval to conduct the audit.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Item 17, Precinct 2.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. We're bringing today several items. First of all, I'd like to take this opportunity to recognize Mr. Ken Jones, Executive Director of the Lower Rio Grande Valley Development Council.
Good morning, sir.
At this time, Commissioner Palacios was a representative from the commission to the COG Board, and so at this time, we bring the item to appoint a representative for Hidalgo County to the Lower Rio Grande Valley Development Council for your consideration.
Appoint myself, Eddie Cantu.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
You're going to love it.
Item 17B is, we are in possession of a resignation letter from Mr. Michael G. Cano, board member of the Hidalgo County Regional Mobility Authority. So I'd like for the commission to consider acceptance of the resignation letter.
Move for approval.
Second.
Is it effective today?
It is effective, it was effective on January 7th.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
And as a follow-up to that, an approval to appoint a member to the Hidalgo County Regional Mobility Authority.
You got a name?
I'd like to appoint Julian Ibarra Jr.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Now, traditionally, you have to share some words of, some special words that you offer the RMA Board as well as the Commissioners Court on what you all have to offer. I'm messing with him, Judge. He's a dear friend.
No problem.
Very special to the family.
I've been very fortunate to have met all of y'all, the judge and the commissioners. I've been in business for about 15 years now, and I love being part of committees, boards, and all that stuff. So I want to thank Eddie for appointing me, Commissioner Eddie Cantu, for appointing me to this awesome board and for having the trust in me.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir. Why don't you put him up here in the center?
Be careful where you sit at.
Yeah. Yeah.
Alex, good luck. Next item?
Next, Judge, we are bringing forward a resolution in support of Mr. Aquiles Jimmy Garza to represent the region and the state of Texas by serving as a Texas Department of Transportation Textile Commissioner. We have a resolution. With your permission, I'd like to read it.
Go ahead.
Whereas only 2 representatives from the Rio Grande Valley have ever been appointed to the Texas Transportation Commission, and it has been over 20 years since a commissioner from the Rio Grande Valley has held a position on the board. And whereas the governor of the state of Texas has authorized under Texas Administrative Code, has the authority to appoint members to the Texas Transportation Commission, whose purpose is to oversee the Texas Department of Transportation to ensure the transportation needs of the state of Texas are met. And whereas it is anticipated that during the current legislative session, Governor Greg Abbott will appoint several new commissioners to serve on the Texas Transportation Commission, and ask the Senate of the state of Texas to confirm the appointment of those commissioners. And whereas representation by an individual with knowledge of transportation infrastructure in South Texas is essential to ensure that the needs of the entire state, specifically improving connectivity and mobility in the ever-growing Rio Grande Valley and the Hidalgo County Transportation Management Area, are met. And whereas the commissioner would be responsible for planning and making policies for the location, construction, and maintenance of state highways, overseeing the design, construction, maintenance, and operation of the state highway system, and developing a statewide transportation plan that contains all modes of transportation, including highways and turnpikes, aviation, mass transportation, railroads, high-speed railroads, and water traffic. And whereas A. Jimmy Garza, currently serving as a city commissioner for the city of FAR since 2010, and as an advisory board member for the FAR-Reynosa International Bridge, has a knowledge and demonstrated understanding of the mobility needs of Hidalgo County and the greater region of South Texas by being an advocate for interstate connectivity to the Rio Grande Valley and the remainder of the state. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Hidalgo County Commissioners Court hereby supports the resolution for the appointment of A. Jimmy Garza to the Texas Transportation Commission.
Approval. Second.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
The Commissioner couldn't be here today. He's in Austin attending the swearing-in ceremonies, but I'll turn this over to you, Judge, for your signature, and we'll present it to him on his return.
Very good.
Under the next item, 17D, Precinct 2 Parks Administration, approval of the following personnel actions: to delete the following position, Slot 36, Maintenance Custodian at $22,297, and to create the following position, Slot 23, Custodian 2 at $25,426.
Move approval.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
And approval of the interdepartmental transfer and approval to revise the salary schedule in accordance with Commissioners Court action.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Yeah. You're welcome.
Precinct 3.
Item 18A1, requesting approval of the interlocal cooperation agreement between the County of Hidalgo and the City of Peñitas concerning certain Phase 2 improvements to Mile 3 corridor from FM 492 to FM 2221.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
Item 2, in accordance with Section 791.010 of the Texas Government Code, requesting approval of the interlocal cooperation agreement project regarding certain Phase 2 road improvements to Mile 3 Road from FM 492 to FM 2221.
Move approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
And item 18B, discussion and approval of interlocal cooperation agreement among the City of Alton, Hidalgo County, and Hidalgo County Drainage District Number 1 in relation to widening of drainage ditch located on 5 Mile Line west of Conway.
Judge, the
Yes.
legal review was not documented for this agreement.
I believe Monica has.
It's been
Monica has it?
reviewed and signed, yes.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Those in-
item that the Drainage District presented.
Okay.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
Item B2, in accordance with Section 791010 of the Texas Government Code, requesting approval of the interlocal cooperation agreement project regarding the widening of the drainage ditch located on 5 Mile Line west of Conway.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Precinct 4, item 19.
Good afternoon, Judge Commissioners. On item 19A, under right-of-way discussion and/or approval of order closing, abandoning, and vacating .753 acres of roadway between blocks NOS 10 and 11, sections number 260 of the Texas Mexican Railway Company subdivision, Hidalgo County, Texas, also known as Holmes Road.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
Item 19A2, discussion and/or approval of order closing, abandoning, and vacating .443 acres of roadway between block NOS 10 and 11, section number 260 of the Texas Mexican Railway Company subdivision, Hidalgo County, also known as Holmes Road.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
Item 19B, under our paving projects, acceptance and approval of the request for payment of additional materials invoiced by Frontera Materials Incorporated and approved by McAllen ISD Board of Trustees on 4/28/14 for the McAllen ISD paving projects.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
Item 20, budget.
Morning, Judge, Commissioner, Sergio Cruz, Department of Budget Management. Item 20A is approval of 2015 appropriation of funds in the total amount of $6,997,400. And this is to fund various Precinct 1 and Precinct 3 road and CRC projects.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 20A2 is approval of 2015 appropriation of funds for various departments in the total amount of $5,506,730. This is for the fund to purchase vehicle replacements.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 28.3, approval of 2015 appropriation of funds in the amount of $50,000 to fund legal services, and this is in the Supplemental Court Guardianship Fund, Fund 1250.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 20A4 is approval of appropriation of funds for the Justice Court Building Security Fund in the total amount of $10,000, and this is to fund installation of some windows at the JP office.
Approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 20B1A is approval of 2015 interfund transfer from countywide administration to CO's 2014 Fund 1445 in the amount of $598,531, and this is for the 2015 principal and interest payments as well as fiscal agent fees.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 20B1B is approval of 2015 interfund transfer from countywide administration to refunding bonds 2014C, Fund 1446, in the amount of $187,047, and this is to fund the 2015 February interest payment and fiscal agent fees for that fund.
Move for approval.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye, motion carries.
Item 20B1C is approval of 2015 interfund transfer from countywide administration to the tax notes 2014 Fund 1401 in the amount of $1,257,895, and this is as well to fund the 2015 principal and interest payments and fiscal agent fees.
For approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 20C is approval to undesignate the amount of $1 million in fiscal year 2015 for expenditures related to the 1115 waiver program.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye, motion carries.
Item 2 is approval of 2015 appropriation of funds in the amount of $1 million, again, to fund anchor entity program expenditures.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 20D1, approval to correct salary schedule discrepancies adopted during the 2015 budget process as listed in Exhibit A, to be effective 1/1/2015, with approval of the transfers and the revision of the salary schedule.
Sergio,
Yes, sir.
just for the record, there are two slots, 160 listed.
Correct. We
One of those is going to be 167, right?
correct. We included that in the Exhibit A, and it has already been uploaded to Agenda Clerk.
Move for approval.
That's the 1, 2, and 3.
Yes, sir. D1, 2, and 3.
Need a second?
Second.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye, motion carries.
Item 20E is approval to issue check payable to the Texas Department of Transportation Trust Fund in the amount of $1,700 for additional estimated direct costs for the engineering phase for the CR 229 off-system bridge project.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye, motion carries.
Thank you, Judge Commissioners.
Item 21, purchasing.
Judge Commissioners, real quick, I was instructed in the back, under item 19B, for the record, we have to state that the second line item under Frontera Materials, invoice number 213-11985 has been submitted to the auditor for approval to run with 213-11885 in the total of $6,024.64. So there's two invoices for that, one line item.
Move for
What was
approval.
that, what were the numbers, 11885 and?
213-11985.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
It's not listed, but
Go ahead, Marty.
Okay, just so that, I'd like to just inform the court that on the items that I had brought before on consent, in the interim that I've come now on the regular, we have had completely resolved, at the very least, 2. 3 is about 90% resolved, and the other 2 are being resolved as we speak. So we will be having those issues laid to rest. Going
ahead.
on to the agenda item for regular agenda, 21A. This is at least good news to start with, acceptance of a rebate check in the amount of $20,362.55 from the Local Government Purchasing Corporation and by board for the 2013-2014 fiscal year. This is a rebate on our purchases that we do through by board.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
On item 2, this is acceptance and approval of the First Amendment to the lease between Hidalgo County, currently housing the Department of Human Resources, to reflect the name change of Lesser from Jack McClellan to JDMC Investments LLC. This is for payment purposes.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 3 is discussion, consideration, and action, or approval of final interlocal agreement between the County of Hidalgo and the City of Edinburgh for the disposal of non-hazardous solid waste.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye, motion carries.
Items 4 and 5 are related in that their acceptance and approval to enter into interlocal agreements between the county, all of the departments as listed, and all funding sources with Education Service Center Region 20. It's a co-op with the purpose of an additional resource for purchasing of goods and/or services. And it also will include the county judge to execute the document and thus permitting the county agent, the purchasing agent or designee to complete and fulfill the online interlocal documents.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
Item 5, requesting approval of the continuation of the membership agreement between National Joint Powers Alliance, the NJPA, and Hidalgo County for the same purpose.
Approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye, motion carries.
Item B1, this is for elections, requesting exemption from competitive bidding requirements under Texas Local Government Code, Chapter 262-024A7, an item that can be obtained only from one source.
For approval.
Approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
B is requesting approval of a sole source declaration for Drake Communications Incorporated for the provision of support and maintenance services for the Keystone IVR system used by the Hidalgo County Elections Department and any other applicable departments, agencies, programs, or elected offices.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
C is requesting approval to purchase and enter into an expert maintenance services agreement for the Elections Department for that Keystone Interactive Voice Response System at $4,800 for a period of 1 year.
Approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
Item C, Precinct 2, 1, requesting exemption from competitive bidding requirements under 262-024A4, a professional service.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
B, presentation of the scoring grid for the purposes of ranking by Commissioner's Court of the firms graded and evaluated through the county's approved pool of professional engineering services for Precinct 2's Regional Hike and Bike Trail Project. The 3 firms, Hinojosa Engineering at 97, LNG 98, and Javier Hinojosa Engineering at 95. Does the court wish to rank them in the order of their scores?
Move for approval.
Second.
Marlene, who did the grading on this one?
The precinct.
The precinct?
Those in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
And item 3
That's
is,
later.
C is authority for the purchasing department to negotiate a professional engineering services contract commencing with the number 1 ranked firm of LNG for the services described.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
Item 4, Precinct 4, acceptance and approval of an amendment to Exhibit A, scope of work, cost proposal for professional services agreement as listed with George M. Mitch Hudgens, DBA Modern Technology, Modern Environment, due to TCEQ notice to engineer that groundwater sampling and analysis plan needs to be updated in accordance with 30 Tax Section 330.491A and 40 CFR Part 258, Appendix I, in order to remain in compliance.
Approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 2 is acceptance and approval of change order number 4 for an extension of 60 days and $0 additional to contract number 072A, Keurig Enterprises LLC, Foremost Construction. And that is for the construction of the Community Resource Center in San Carlos.
Move approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item E1, this is presentation of the sole responsible vendor submitting the lowest and best bid and meeting all specifications or requirements. And this is for the this is for the Health and Human Services Department Laboratory Services. That was 9 participants, 1 response. That's Quest Diagnostics.
Approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item F1, facilities, acceptance and approval of certificate of construction completion as submitted by Protec Mechanical Valley LLC in a connection with Hidalgo County Facilities Management's replacement of the 110 chiller, the old administration building, with authority for Mr. Guerra, Executive Officer, to sign the documentation on behalf of facilities.
Move for approval.
Well, didn't we install a chiller in that building 3, 4, 5 years ago?
No, Commissioner.
It was longer than that,
It was
Commissioner.
much
Longer than that?
And it is the other one.
It's, yes,
This is-
it's
yes.
the other one we're replacing.
Ah, okay.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye, motion carries.
Item 2, this is acceptance and approval to award proposals received from Herrera and Hunt, awarded job order contractors through the county's participation with HCDE Choice Facilities Partners, contract number 040JC. This is for A, turnkey solution of a bulletproof window at JP
Achia.
Precinct 1, Place 1, JE Science, in the amount of $2848.16.
Move for approval.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item B, turnkey installation of a bulletproof window with tray at JP Precinct 1, Place 2, JP Morales, in the amount of $5,260.32.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
On items G1, and this is Colonia Access Program Precinct 1, I am happy to report that the concern on the insurance requirement has been resolved as we speak, and auditor has viewed the documentation. Let me proceed with requesting acceptance and approval to execute a professional engineering agreement, CAP number 397, for the provision of construction materials testing services for the Precinct 1 Border Colonia Round 3 with Millennium, as authorized for approval back on October the 28th, 14.
Move for approval.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
Colonia Access Program Precinct 2, with same concern with Millennium. That has been received and resolved. Let me proceed with I. This is requesting acceptance and approval to execute a professional engineering services agreement number 401 for the provision of construction materials testing, Precinct 2's Round 3, Border Colonia with Millennium, as authorized and approved for negotiations on October 28th, 2014.
Move for approval.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
For Border Colonia Access Program Precinct 3, I-1, acceptance and approval to execute professional engineering contract agreement for the provision of general engineering services for Border Colonia Round 3 with Javier Hinojosa Engineering as authorized and approved back on December 16th of 14.
Approval. Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Item B, requesting approval of work authorization 1 for contract number 424 with proposed fee of $21,720.60 with Javier Hinojosa Engineering to provide plan specifications and estimates and construction inspection for Round 3, Border Colonia Access Program project, and that is for various of those projects in Precinct 3.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
J1, acceptance and approval of a final construction contract document for the project of Hidalgo County Sheriff's Office, Hidalgo County Adult Detention Center and Law Enforcement Center facility roof and/or air conditioning repairs and/or replacements, awarded on 10/28/14 with Central Air and Heating in the total of amount of $5,990,000. Contract number 047. I know there is a concern, and as I answered in my response, I am going to leave that to Department of Budget and Management. They've been in contact with the engineer on the project.
Judge, this item has been discussed previously, and the funding source, in our opinion, is not correct. So my recommendation would be not to approve it until we can identify the correct funding source.
Is that for J1?
I'm sorry? Yeah, for J1, yeah.
I thought we had identified it.
I'm sorry?
The funding
That's what-
the funding
we
is
got the money.
identified using CO proceeds 2014. The question that the auditor has is whether that project is a capitalizable project or whether that's just a regular maintenance project, and if it is a regular maintenance project, then it wouldn't qualify to use capital project funds. I'm trying to get an opinion from Shuid Ramirez. He doesn't seem to have an issue as long as we make a good faith determination that IRS regulations are being followed. I did send them some information regarding the capitalization of the asset. Again, we do have a capital assets guide. Our guide basically states that we need to have an increase of 25% of the value or of the expected life. That's not necessarily what the IRS says. It's just a determination of what material is. By reference of that capital asset guide, the auditors are using that 25% as the material test. So I'm trying to get some additional documentation from Shui to allow us to be able to use these projects. Again, this is a $6 million project that we are doing. It's not regular routine maintenance of the facility. This is actually bringing the roof structure and the AC system to a like new condition, which based on some IRS regulations that does require for those assets to be capitalized. Also, the scope of this work is to be able to fix a defect in the workmanship of the construction. That again also allows by the IRS to capitalize this project. So again, I'm trying to just get legal opinion so that we have everything in file in case we ever do get audited by the IRS, that we do have a legal opinion. So I would recommend that this be approved, subject to getting that favorable legal opinion from our bond counsel, Mr. Ramirez. We are trying to schedule a meeting for later this afternoon with Mr. Ramirez and Mr. Eufrasio and Mr. Guerra to try to bring this issue and resolve it. So I would recommend that we approve this subject to bond counsel favorable determination.
Now, what's going to happen with the contract, Marty? Are we going to wait all of this before it can be executed?
Yes, it should.
Yes, it would still, yes, it would be pending receipt of his letter.
That's
At
what I
that
would
point,
recommend, that we need to iron out all of this before the contract.
yes, and it would still be pending receipt of his letter.
All right, we have,
We will not proceed to execute the agreement.
we have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Subject to?
Yes, subject to Mr. Ramirez
Some of that money was
approval.
the insurance money, no? That we had there?
Around 4 million plus.
No, that's already been moved to the courthouse.
They moved them.
The money that we
Right.
received from the settlements was
Yes.
set aside, but then it was used for something else. So now we're trying to use CO funding for it.
Well, we're trying to use that bond money that...
Bond money.
Correct.
All right, those in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion carries.
Item J2, presentation of the sole responsible vendor submitting the lowest and best bid and meeting all specifications and/or requirements. And this is for repair, removal, installation, and/or purchase of radios, computers, and other miscellaneous equipment. We had 9 bid packets sent out, 1 response. The awarded vendor, South Texas Communications.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion carries.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Need a motion pursuant to 55107.1 and 072 to proceed to executive session.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. We're now in executive session, and it is 12:44. All right, we're back in open session. Mr. Guerra?
Thank you, Judge, Commissioners. Under Open Session 23A, Real Estate Acquisition, Appropriation is same, there's no action. 23B, pending and/or potential litigation, there's no action to be taken today. 23C, C 2749-13-G, Leiliana Ruelas and Dianira Ruelas versus Hidalgo County Sheriff's Department and Gilbert Flores. Judge, Commissioners, I'd like the court to entertain a motion in settlement of, to approve the settlement documents. In this case, this is payment will be facilitated by our insurance carrier, Travelers, and for the record, $30,500 and $37,500 respectively.
Move for approval.
Those in favor, 35 and 37.5.
No, $30,500.
Right. Well, and yes.
And $37,500, and the payment will be facilitated by our insurance carrier.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Item D, Judge Commissioners, I'd like to refer back to item 7A1 and 2. 7A1, I'm requesting exemption from competitive bidding requirements under the Texas Local Government Code, Section 26202.4A4, professional service for the provision of legal services representation in connection with litigation. If I could have a motion to that effect.
Move for approval.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
And item 7A2, requesting engagement with the firm of Preston Hendrickson for the provision of legal service representation in connection with litigation and authority to submit a letter of engagement specifically as it pertains to C 8615-14-A, Michael Calvillo and Rosa Rivera versus Hidalgo County et al.
Approval. Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Item E, claim... Preston Hendrickson, yes, sir. Item 23E, claim of Lorenzo Rodriguez. Judge Commissioners, I'd like settlement authority to make an offer in the amount of $300.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
23F, I'd like settlement authority to make an offer in settlement of the claim of Enterprise Holding, Inc. in the amount of $550.
Move for approval. Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
23G, claim of Verizon. Again, I'd like settlement authority to make an offer in the amount of $2,328.56.
Approval. Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Item H, claim of AT&T. I'd like settlement authority to make an offer in the amount of $825.97.
Approval. Second.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion carries.
Item I, claim of Leonor Segovia. I'd like settlement authority to make an offer in the amount of $251.09.
Approve.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
And item J, Hidalgo County versus Leonardo Ochoa. I'd like to assign this to Ms. Josephine Ramirez's office for review and recommendation.
Action?
Yes, sir, please.
Approve.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
And Judge Commissioners, again, I will be working by the end of the day. I will let you all know about the February 3rd meeting.
Okay.
Okay?
Very good.
Thank you.
Need a motion to adjourn?
Move for approval.
Second.
Thank you. A motion